But speaking of which, we are live, so we will try not to say anything terribly political to alienate people or tick people off or whatever. But all right, so a couple of things. Go to Foundry. If you press the C button, if you're not in the chat window, it will open up your character sheet. I will unpause the game. You should be able to, from the actors tab, you should be able to drag your character onto the screen. You know, you can move around. You can drag your character to move them, or you can use the arrow keys to move around as well. For the most part, there will occasionally be battle maps, but a lot of this is just going to kind of be theater of the mind with like a kind of a cinematic backdrop. So very quickly on Foundry, across the right-hand side at the top, there is the little speech bubbles that will bring you back to the chat. The chat is where your dice rolls and everything will show up. At the bottom of the chat, there is you'll see some dice icons, and you can just like kind of quickly click those and then hit roll, and it will roll the appropriate dice. That way you don't have to worry about remembering dice commands. You should not be listed as Aries. Yeah, if you click on a token, it'll come up as that'll be what pops up in the chat. After that, the little fist icon, that is like the combat tracker for initiative purposes. Then the actor tab, where you will have access to your character sheet. Then the items tab, which is where you'll find like gear and items as we slowly populate the game. The next one after that, the open looking book, is the journal tab, and I believe I have it set so you guys can actually create your own journal entries if you want to keep notes that way. You'll also find I have a PDF viewer installed in Foundry, so there's a copy of the core rules there in case we need to look anything up. The next one is for you guys would be rollable tables, but there's no tables to roll on. That's pretty much it. We'll kind of go through things kind of as we go. One of the things that came up that Fabian asked me in on Facebook is, how does determination work? Everybody has a pool of determination points. For most of you, I believe it's 4. For Nas, it's 3 because he's a soldier. And they're used in a couple of different ways. During a diplomatic scene, you have to kind of wager them to try to convince people of things. If you run out of determination, you can no longer pursue that avenue. The other way, which is like a little throwaway line partway through the rulebook, is you can use determination on a one-for-one basis to lower the difficulty of a test. So before you roll the dice, you can be like, oh, I'm determined. I'm going to spend 2 determination to bring that difficulty 15 down to a 13. Determination comes back after a long rest. So it is a finite resource.
Hey, I think I missed the part how you move your token, not your character. How did you guys do that?
If you just select your token, and then you can just drag it around, or you can use the arrow keys.
I gotta which I got okay. I got my character. How do I like the part with the dot? How do I move that?
Oh, the little dot that's moving around the screen?
Yeah,
That's just your cursor.
is it? Okay, I can't. I guess I don't see it, but it's
You don't see
cursor.
your cursor. You see your cursor.
Ah,
Other people's
that
cursor.
makes more sense.
Yes. It's an easy way to kind of highlight something. I do have a ping module, so if you hold down the left mouse button, you can ping an area. So that's a good way to draw people's attention to something.
Sorry, I was trying to get this voice modulator to work, and it's not playing because I'm on Mac, and it's like no, no. So I gotta play around with it. For next time, I'll just lower my voice when I switch into Iris,
No
or however
problem.
I'm gonna pronounce it yet.
But like I said, this first session will be a lot of like learning the rules, learning the characters, learning Foundry, learning all the other tech. But yes, we will start off here momentarily. For anybody who may be watching us on Twitch or YouTube later, Crucible Gaming, most of our games are rated R. Language depending on who's playing, violence depending on who's game mastering. So make your decisions accordingly. Although this is Stargate, but it's Stargate if it was on like Netflix, as opposed to regular television. I think that's the best way to describe what I have planned.
So it's Netflix and not HBO.
Yes, it's not HBO. So, but yes.
Well, I made the wrong character then. That's not gonna work. I definitely made an HBO version of the Stargate character. So, all right, well that'll be fun. I'll have to Netflix it down.
Or you can beep it out.
There's no beeping in Netflix.
No, but there is fade to black.
Yes.
Yeah, there'll be some.
holiday
I'll
special.
definitely type FTB whenever that comes up.
Just bear in mind that while I'm running game, I don't tend to pay attention to the text chat in Discord. So if there's something that really needs my attention, just make sure you're like, hey, check Discord, and I'll go over there. Excuse me. Other than that, we will get underway. We've decided that the game takes place during like the midpoint of season 6 of SG1. Anubis has shown up, kind of thrown the system lords into some measure of disarray. There is potentially a civil war brewing amongst the Goa'uld. That's all happening over there. SG1 is dealing with that. Stargate Command is dealing with that. But part of his ascension was an attack on an off-world base called Alpha Site. Following that attack, a bunch of people regrouped, Stargate Command regrouped, and they moved to another off-world location called Phoenix Site. Phoenix Site's primary goal is to find allies, to find other races out there that would band together to help overthrow the oppressors. To that end, there is a base at Phoenix called Phoenix Site. They've also established a community of sorts called Haven, where different species and the soldiers, Air Forcemen stationed at Phoenix Site can reside. There are primarily human, but there are also a number of Tok'ra and Jaffa and even some Unas and a new race with ties to the Nox called the Aturans, who are a relatively peaceful race, but are eager to assist. You guys have been designated as Phoenix 2. You are a multidisciplinary force. So you will be undertaking missions of exploration, diplomacy, investigation, scientific research. You are not a combat unit. You are not designated as such, although some of your members are trained military and, will be expected to protect their team. The person overseeing Phoenix Site, General Lawyer, he's given you all the same briefing as you kind of have come in. And it's essentially along the lines of, like, I don't know who you brown-nosed with or who you pissed off to get stationed here. But whatever's happened in the past is irrelevant. You are here because your skills are needed. And as long as you do the job, then whatever black marks on your record are gone. That pretty much sums up his welcome speech.
How many people are milling around? Is that like...
Phoenix Site is a fair sized base. There's like between Phoenix teams and like base personnel and Stargate Command personnel. There's probably a couple hundred stationed at the site itself. And then the town of Haven, because they bring in refugees for resettlement. So that's pretty much constantly in flux, but it is a pretty decent sized settlement as well. So like, I mean, I grew up as a base brat, so there's always like the base and then there's the community that surrounds it. It's very similar to that.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And how many so do we call them Phoenix teams? Because I know that the SGC teams are like abbreviated. Are we like PHX teams?
Lawyer doesn't go in for abbreviations really, so it's basically Phoenix 1, Phoenix 2, Phoenix 3.
So my question is, how many Phoenix teams are there currently commissioned?
There are 9. And most of them range between 4 and 7 individual members.
And we're one of the newer teams, even though we're Phoenix 2?
Yes. All of the teams are relatively new. It
Seems our boss might have done some brown nosing.
It's entirely possible. But yes, Phoenix itself is a relatively new. It's grown quickly, but as anything that grows quickly, there's always a lot of growing pains. There's tensions between the Aturan and the Unas in the settlement. There's, humans just, trying to make a buck running like scams in the local like drinking establishment. Like it's like a frontier town almost.
Chris, is there any exposition you want to put into play here before we begin, or do we just like start in a briefing room, or do we start at the bar, or where do you want us to begin? Have us begin?
All right. So what you guys know, you guys are aware of all the stuff that just happened with Anubis showing up again, all of the disarray that has caused with the System Lords. You know that Phoenix 1 has encountered some Jaffa of unknown origin on some of their expeditions. What is really striking about these and what people are trying to get more information on is that these Jaffa can't be questioned. They're incapable of vocalizing. Like even like they won't yell out in pain. They won't issue commands. There's no vocalization amongst these, and there's something definitely not sitting well with that, and everybody's like, Other than that, we are actually going to start with like a little bit of a character introduction, basically as picture it kind of like a training montage. You can describe your character and kind of describe what people would notice about them as they like work their way through drill or through the obstacle course or in briefings or anything of that nature.
So I guess I'll start.
Sure.
So, Lieutenant Junior Grade Rick Doyle. He's standing out of everyone because he's the only guy with a Navy uniform. He's he's someone who's gets things done, and sometimes not through the proper channels, but the results are always there to back him up. Uh, while he's in good shape physically, athletically, some of this training as a ground pounder, let's say, is really not familiar to him. And while combat is part of the Navy training, it's obviously quite different. So tactics and strategies for combat on land really is not his strong forte, and he'll probably need coaching for that.
I mean, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I was going to say, who would like to go next?
I'll go next. I'm Fox. I'm playing Brad / Erie. I decided that Erie is sort of the way we're going to pronounce his name. He's about medium height. He's dressed in definitely not tarry clothing, although he does have a bulletproof vest under his robes. But he's definitely dressed as you would imagine some sort of alien archaeologist. He's a very good-looking person and tends to have conflicting voices when he speaks. There's one of them, his Brad, is how he usually introduces himself, unless he's speaking with somebody who's of importance, or the other, or the symbiote wants to talk, in which case there's a little edge of Eries will talk. He's not physically fit. Not to say that he's flabby or overweight. He's just under muscled. He's got average reflexes, but he's clearly here on some kind of archaeological basis.
Cultural expert.
Yeah, let's go with that. Cultural expert.
Okay. Jaime.
So Major Nasir Nesbitt goes under Nas. Fairly well-built guy. He's not gigantic. One of the major points that he has is he's almost forgettable if it weren't for his winning smile. So he's charismatic and well-built. He's the kind of guy who probably would have been popular in school, but just not super good-looking. So if you weren't looking for him, you could miss him in a crowd, which has done him a great service in his career. He's wearing combat fatigues, but it always feels like he's slightly out of place in them, as if he'd rather be wearing something that makes him stand out a little bit less. He is clearly knows how to carry himself, clearly military training, has sharp eyes, and has rank. As a major, he is the commander of the unit, I guess. He also has in-depth experience, and he talks a lot about setting up things or setting up people and being anxious to get off world to try to start mobilizing the galaxy against the Goa'uld. He might not speak from experience of being out of gate, but he does have experience in mobilizing population and people to take to arms. He has a very big problem with oppressors.
Perfect. And Tegan.
Yes. So I should pull up my sheet. So I'm playing Sam Tanner. Sam is Sam is rank as captain, but they're um they're not a field commander. They're someone that was a science specialist, uh, and quite frankly a bit of a nerd. Uh, they definitely are someone who like is excited to be at Phoenix Site because this is something they actually wanted to do. They're off planet for the first time, uh, and there's definitely that like they're getting to experience stuff they've only read about or seen like in videos and being like, okay, this stuff's real. What else are we gonna find? They're definitely very curious. They try to be respectful, but particularly when it comes to tech, comes to the tech and the science side of things, the curiosity is a lot stronger. Uh, their specialty is astrophysics, which is particularly useful and probably in regards to use of Stargate, which is probably how they finally got their field placement with this team.
Perfect. So you guys have basically you've worked a little bit as a team, not in the field, but just like training as a team. Learning the rank structure, which is basically Major NASA's in charge. Sam would be 2IC, then begrudgingly Doyle, and then the civilians. And that how do you guys spend your spare time?
So NASA's curious what's out there, right? One of his strengths while he was on Earth was to understand the racial and geopolitical relationship between those who had and those who didn't. So probably a lot of time, at least early on during the sessions, trying to understand what's out there. Maybe engaging in conversation with Iris. Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah, Iris, like Erie, but Iris.
Okay, so probably debating in conversation with Iris, trying to understand what's on the other side of the gate and what he can expect, to try to be proactive in that sense.
Iris is at the bar. Pretty much whenever not on duty or not when he's not reporting or supposed to report anywhere, Iris is at the bar. Likely chatting people up, learning things about Tari culture, which is completely foreign to him.
Does he just hang out, or does he like work some shifts at the bar?
I mean, if there's work at the bar, I guess he could bartend. It'd be funny for him to have a knack of figuring out how to make, like, he's got a pretty good no medicine, but tons of culture and science. So I wouldn't surprise me if he tends bar, and to learn more about Tari culture. As if somebody was like, maybe if you become a bartender, you can learn more about the Tari. And so he's learning how to mix Tari drinks and making concoctions for people as he tends bar and hears stories of the Tari and their strange ways.
Chris, did you mean he works at a bar or he works the bar?
A little bit of both, really.
Yeah, and then I would be happy to say he does both. He definitely works the bar. He is the ex-consort to some big gold, so it would stand to reason that that doesn't go away.
And it is a great way to learn, like, not just about the Tauri, but the other cultures as well. So perfect. All right. How does Sam spend their free time?
Okay, so you know how one of the base ways people tend to figure out common language is math. You can, because 1 + 1 = 2. It's one of those ways to sort of establish a baseline when you don't have a common culture. There's technologies allowed us to bridge that a little bit, but Sam's an astrophysicist wonk, which means they're actually trying to connect with non-Tari human math and science related people because they're curious about learning about how other mathematical systems from a non Earth basis work. Because let's be honest, Earth is pretty ethnocentric, and that's not something we'd have. Like, how are their number system? How are their calculation systems different, and how does that affect their approach to astrophysics?
And
Yes, I'm a nerd.
every Stargate team needs one. How does Doyle spend his time?
He's accepted this as a new challenge in his career, knowing that he couldn't stay where he was, and he knows the only way he can survive in a military unit while not necessarily respecting all the rules is to excel at his job. He knows he'll be exposed to new technologies and required to figure them out. So he's going to read up on whatever he can get his hands on to try to figure out how to repair any kind of technology that the Phoenix team have started to see. He's not going to be very social.
Perfect. So you guys are kind of going about your regular routine. Despite what free time you have, there is still regular job duties that need to be done. When you are called into a briefing by a general lawyer, pull up my notes. There's a general lawyer is awaiting you for a briefing, as is the head of security, a gentleman named Major Bell. Both of them are human. There is also a couple of members of the Haven Council. One of them you recognize as a Jaffa named Abebe, and one of them is an Atoran named Hatana. They are representatives of the community. They rarely come to briefings, and it looks like they're basically discussing something with the lawyer as you guys enter, and then they make their exit. But there's definitely something important enough to have brought them here.
So we stand at attention, wait to be given orders to take our seats, I guess?
Excellent.
I just sit down.
Lawyer just kind of looks askance at you. It's like, it looks like you're about to be field tested. We are currently short-staffed, and I'll let Bell take over. So Bell steps forward, and
when they say that, there's definitely not quite, just kind of that excited sort of energy, like, oh yes, Sam's being quiet and respectful, but there's definitely the sort of that expectant excitement.
Bell says, as I'm sure you're aware, when teams go into the field after they fail to report back within designated time, for security reasons, we need to purge their GTO out of the system. We cannot afford having enemies access to our iris. That does not mean we leave people behind. Phoenix.
So this is a search and rescue, sir?
Phoenix 4 is overdue. They were expected back 2 hours ago, and they are nothing if not punctual.
So just the rescue.
It is a rescue. We will give them the benefit of the doubt, and we have not yet purged their codes, but time is running short.
How long are they overdue? 4 hours, you said?
They're 2 hours overdue.
Where were they last?
They were sent to P4X 998. Specifically, they are a medical and exploratory team. They were looking for possible medicinal flora. P4X is a lush and diverse biome, especially along the subtropical region. We were hoping that we would be able to find useful plant life.
Do we know do we have access to the scouting report or what their last communications were like?
Their last reports were that they were headed out to search the gate. Is inside a small village. They were going to go and meet some of the locals. But that was yesterday.
Interesting. Do we know anything about this village?
P4X, human descendant, approximately 12th to 13th century in terms of technology. Although there is evidence of a Goa'uld, there's a temple there, but initial scans with the UAV and stuff didn't show any sign of a Jaffa presence or anything of that nature.
Was there any attempt to recontact them while they're late? Another UAV or probe sent in between?
We did send another probe in, but the signal was cut off.
Major,
off.
how are you with the lance?
Sorry, what was that?
I was asking the Major how he is with the lance.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that out of character. How am I the Lance?
Yes.
I don't quite understand. I don't use a lance.
Bell mentioned that they are 11th to 13th century in Tari time, which tells me that there may be, if it is a simple village, there may need to be some sort of horseback and lancing as jousting. That is the word you use, jousting. How good are you in jousting, Major?
I'm better with a P90, and I'm sure it has better range. But I'm more curious about the telemetry that was cut off. That implies that something specifically broke communication, because otherwise that device would have been able to transmit over not only a video signal, but would have had enough power to transmit for days.
Indeed.
That's
Sir, quick question.
yes.
Was our team wearing usual equipment, or were they disguised as locals with the same technology and clothes?
They were there undercover.
So we have to find an energy source that cuts off communication while passing for locals. Understood, sir.
I am not concerned about passing for locals at this juncture. I am concerned about getting our people back.
How long till we leave?
Get your gear together. Just 30 minutes.
Gentlemen, is there anything specific you think that you would need for this rescue? NAS specifically looks at the non-military person. I guess that's Fox's character, Iris.
I don't believe there's anything specific that I require.
Well, if we're trying to make nice with the locals, gift or something, I don't know what's appropriate to 13.
Yes. Your standard issue ration gift kit. It has the one with the chocolate and the coffee and the tea. That will go well. Simp? Why do I think it's simp?
I believe it is.
Doyle, what do you think could have caused that probe or that device to malfunction or to be turned off? Do you think that there's what do you think the chances are that it just malfunctioned, or do you think what kind of knowledge would be used or what kind of intent would be required to turn off that signal?
I mean, it could have malfunctioned, but I mean, I wouldn't expect anything from that time period to produce any kind of energy that can disrupt communications or
So more like a rock.
I'm sorry?
So more like a rock. They used a rock to turn it off.
It could be
a very
that.
large rock.
Catapults? Arrows and bows? Who knows? Maybe that Goa'uld temple has something in there.
I was thinking the same thing. The Goa'uld temple might require some reconnaissance.
It might even be automated. Who knows?
Let us hope not.
Captain, on your side, do you have enough information to try to ascertain which direction they would have gone? I mean, if they're going off hunting for plants and stuff, I mean, I don't necessarily know which plants are the right plants, but can we figure out which direction they were going in based on the aerial surveys? Or Captain Tenor?
Sorry, I thought you were asking someone else a question. You're asking. This is Tegan, just verifying.
Yes, Tegan. Yeah, NASA's asking you as a nerd where they were going.
No. For some reason, I thought you said a different name originally. The question you were asking was about how to discern what direction they went.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that as the nerd, local or the our team's nerd, I'm kind of asking you that question of if other plant nerds went in direction, where would they be going?
So if they're, I'm gonna do we have some sort of? I assume we have some sort of tablet technology, because it's
Yes.
I'm basically to see if I can pull up while this is going on, if there's any sort of reports or what sort of initial notes were uploaded, if there's any sort of initial map, or if I have any sort of thing that I can pull out from that to try to take a look. Is there any sort of preliminary map of sorts?
Yeah, it looks like their initial reports indicated that the forested area, the kind of, I don't know, not really subtropical, not really temperate, kind of in between those two, but the forests had a wide variety of flora that they planned to check. In the vicinity of the village where the gate is, so they didn't expect to be gone terribly long.
Right. So, and they're on they were on a contact mission or explore without contact mission.
It was like exploratory, like get plant samples, come back sort of thing.
Exploratory, but contact happened. Well, based on this map, it looks like, and the basic topography as it's laid out, chances are they're more likely to find. The town's more likely to be over in this area, and I'm going to gesture based on sort of river placement because that's generally where you find things. River towards basin, you're more likely to find the town there. So they probably went more this way, making an educated guess. I'm happy to make a roll on this because I am partially bullshitting. Sort of if they're going for minimal contact, we tend to see ghoul temples in sort of these regions, region X. We tend to see civilizations, particularly this level of technology, and even not, tend to be located closer to where the water is. So this is the type of location, without any further information, I can sort of estimate they would have gone.
Thank you, Captain. So based on that, I think that we're going to go through the gate. We're going to examine the map first. It shouldn't have gone too far. Examine the damage, why it could have been turned off, and based on that, do some cultural contact to see if we can figure out if the locals got them or if they knew what happened. And if we're not able to go there, then we'll follow Captain's advice and go into this area of the forest here. So based on that, equip appropriately, and we'll meet at the gate door in 20 minutes.
Sir, may I recommend that we bring another drone? It could allow us to recreate whatever happened to the previous one, and if not, it'll allow us to cover more ground.
I look over to the commanding officer because I know those things are expensive.
We can. Do you need a UAV or a ground drone?
Which is the one that went offline in case we need to reproduce the effect?
The ground drone, the MALP.
Okay.
Oh,
so,
then. Okay.
I mean,
so the MALP will follow us.
To be fair, there was a history in the history of earlier Stargate missions, particularly well documented SG-1. We have known that things such as rocks, as were mentioned, have taken them offline. But yes, obviously verifying doesn't hurt.
How about we have a MALP on standby, and since it is automated, we can dial in and ask for it to come through. We don't have to go with it initially.
And we'll find the previous one when it turned offline, and we'll inspect it.
Correct. So
and
first target, the MALP. Second target, the culture. Third target, the forest.
And depending on how subtle there were and the the drones are not exactly stealth. There should be, if any of you are decent with tracking, we should be able to get some from that as well.
Unless an elephant walked away with it and then be different tracks, I expect a large rut mark somewhere indicating it was dragged somewhere. Fair. Again, we'll meet at the gate 20 minutes.
Sure, yes, sir.
During the 20 minutes, is there anything in particular anybody is doing?
Filling my flask, gathering appropriate garb so I look like I belong there. I mean, I'm gonna dress like a Tok'ra because it'd be the smartest way to do it, and then have a bunch of those simp packets. Could be able to distribute if I need to, ingratiate myself to somebody.
Perfect.
I would like to make sure that among my stuff there is. I want to make sure the equipment has basically whatever the military is using today for mosquito netting, and if the program has developed anything close to a potentially universal bug juice, because we might need it.
Fair point. Like that.
20 minutes. We barely have time to don equipment and change clothes and everything.
Yep. I mean,
I'm going to assume we basically have go bags. Like, that's why we're out here, but that's something that I would have liked, something I think I would have liked to make sure is part of my go bag. Like, we've got the water bottles that, we fill our water bottles. We've probably got some treatment tablets, that, or we have the little gadget that you electrocute the water.
I think the first 3 or 4 teams are rapid response teams. I think that there's we already have a whole bunch of this stuff ready to go.
Right.
I like the idea of a Stargate equivalent of, what is it, citronelle oil or whatever.
Yeah, are there things it's it's like, okay, on these planets these things seem generally universal to repel bugs or to the blood suckers, that like the iron in our blood. But just because I know I have enough experience in the woods that it's I want to make sure that would have been in my go bag. But other than that, it's make sure I've got fresh water and non-expired tablets, and yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
In the book, there is a Zartak detector, which is a Tok'ra thing that can tell if someone's been a victim of Goa'uld mind manipulation.
Yes.
Am I allowed to have one of them?
I would say that makes sense for your character, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to just make sure I've got one of them on me. Seems
Chris.
like a thing I'm going to need.
Chris, I want an extra GDO, and I want to give it to Eris specifically a little bit on the side, saying, look, I know that the men here are going to stand and fight. If we need to, you're going to need to open the gate behind us. And you might need to get the SG4, or excuse me, PHX4, and their scientists through the gate. So we need a spare one.
Of course.
It is 1 per team. You can try to make a persuasion roll.
I shall.
First roll of the
Is your
game.
persuasion better than mine? Probably. Persuasion is not a class skill for me.
I'm pretty sure when you have 1 per team, it's the first thing that a staff weapon will hit.
Oh, that's a great roll. So yeah, it is one per team, but lawyer's already got men out in the field possibly missing. He doesn't want to run the risk of, another team stranded, holding the line so that people can get out, so he will begrudgingly provide you with a second one.
Is this the device to interface with the gate?
Yeah, it's the one it sends the code so that they open the iris so you don't splat.
Yeah, the GDO
that-
garage door opener.
So that's the thing that I've probably worked with them more, I'm guessing, since I have the ability to reduce the time to open gates.
Yeah, you're very, very familiar with the GDO.
You again are GDO captain, right? And for the civilian, I'm giving him one in case he needs to exfiltrate with the rest of the other SG team. If they've stripped of equipment or whatever, he's going to get them through, and we might need to hold down suppressive fire. So there might be a gap between opening those 2 gates, and that's why we need 2.
That makes sense.
Well, let's bring some extra long clothes or cloaks or something that could pass as local, but we can still wear all our military gear under it.
Like a poncho?
Yep.
I am wearing flowing robes, but I have a bulletproof vest underneath, in case.
Just in case. All right. So 20 minutes. You guys have got you've got your bug out bags. You've got you've got your standard issue weapons. You've got some, some not like military ponchos, but more cloak-like ponchos in case you do need to try to disguise yourself.
Kind of like the Star Wars ponchos.
Like the Star Wars
Yes.
ponchos.
Is this going to be our second time through the gate, considering the first probably brought us here?
For some of you, yes, this is your second time through the gate.
Do not puke on my new pumas, as the Earth colloquialism says.
Yeah, okay, we're going to have to get used to this.
Don't vomit on what?
His
My
shoes.
new pumas.
So they start the sequence. Even though Phoenix Sight does actually have a dial home device, they've actually hooked it up to a Tauri dialing computer, and they don't actually use the DHD. They use it only for power.
Oh, does that work offsite as well? Or offsite we still need to use the DHD?
Offsite, you still need to use the DHD.
Okay.
Just the Tauri tend to like what they know, and what they know is a dialing computer. So the gate starts to go, the different chevrons lock into place, ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. And then there's the whoosh. And the gate is active.
Okay, so Nas will go first, kind of begrudgingly, because he has to.
Do you
Sure,
want
I'll
do you
follow.
want Tanner going second or last, based on the fact that they have the gate device, but they're also the second ranking person?
You're closing.
That's
I
why
will go second.
So whoever has the second device should probably go in second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Iris is coming with me, and then the middle is our tech dude.
Whoosh. All right. So you guys whoosh through the gate.
The
And
hell
you-
are we doing in Atlantis?
Yeah, I was.
It's hard to find different pictures of a Stargate, so I was like, I need to have something that's different than the gate room, different enough so you know you're in someplace else.
Okay.
My library of Stargates will grow over time.
Sure.
But you are in what looks like almost like a reception room. A couple of things draw your attention pretty much right away. One of them is the badly damaged drone on the floor in front of you. And the other thing is a very kind of like gradually increasing high-pitched whine.
Where's
is
the
that-
wine coming from?
Make a perception check.
So the first thing I say is, if there's a badly damaged Malp, you're talking about like a rock fell on it, or like it has char marks from blasters on it.
You would actually have to get up to it to see.
Okay, so the first thing I say is get some cover, and then we hear the whine, because that would be my first reaction.
Right. So you guys basically kind of like get behind the gate. I mean, gates are relatively indestructible.
Yeah.
Get behind the gate just as the whine kind of hits a crescendo, and then from various points along the walls and the pillars and everything, these like bright flashes of light just kind of like flash off here and there, and where they hit the floor, there's like a little bit of smoke, and where they hit the drone, there's like a spark and a little bit of smoke. Very definitely lasers firing.
I'm gonna make a culture check. This seems like something I would know something about.
Quite possibly.
I don't get a situational bonus, right?
No.
I would
Normal.
Also for the perception, I rolled a 20. I got a 22 on that.
Perfect. So Doyle and Tanner, you both see kind of mounted on the walls in different places these
I
circular,
didn't roll that.
these they look almost like back on Earth, like security cameras.
Okay.
But they are definitely firing out these like basically tiny but perhaps deadly laser beams.
Based on the damage of the map, I'll say deadly, but we are in cover from them right now, right?
Yes,
We have
you
that? Okay.
yeah, you are. You're kind of like hiding behind the gate
Did-
from it.
Did
Do they
did
keep
they
firing?
specifically target us, or did they specifically target something else?
It looks like they were just kind of firing in almost like a grid-like pattern, not specifically targeting you, but making it likely that had you not gotten to cover, you would have been hit.
So I rolled the 13 on my culture check. This seems like something that I would know about, or this looks consistent with some level of Gould or Jaffa thing.
Yeah, it is definitely not Guald. It's not high tech enough, but it is definitely way beyond what's supposed to be here, and definitely beyond what you know of conventional Tauri. Like it's not like Phoenix 4 left these as a protection. These are beyond Tauri, but not Guald.
Major, this is not Gould technology.
Okay, can we take those things out, or do you know how to turn those off from here?
I will try.
Does it keep firing?
Once you guys kind of like get behind cover, it looks like to Doyle's and well, you've got an engineer and a couple of scientists. It looks like they basically triggered off the whoosh from the gate, and then once everything kind of settled back down again, they have turned off. But at the same time, you guys are behind cover and not really moving a whole lot.
I'm gonna throw a. Is there anything like a rock or something?
I point to his flask.
I'm not throwing the flask.
Throw the cup that comes with the flask then.
Fine. I throw a cup directly in the where you would step out of the gate.
Yeah. Again, there's a fair bit of laser fire.
Okay.
All right.
So let's take these
Don't
things
walk
out.
there.
Chris, how far, like, are these things hard to hit, or can we pick them off here, considering we have scopes, weapons, and a considerable amount of time we know where they're shooting from?
Yeah, you can definitely pick up like the majority of them at any rate. Some of them you're going to have to actually get into a better position to hit.
If we pick them off, they'll know we're here.
Was anything about this in the notes from the team, the P4 team?
No.
So nothing about this is
Installed
reported in
in-
the Phoenix 4 team's report. So
Well, I have to say this first of all. They already know we're here. Those lasers were not quiet, and the team is missing.
We might want to be able to recover some of the technology later down the road.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take out these three. Let's move over to the map for cover. We'll take out the fourth one, and the fifth one, we'll take a look to see if we can move around it.
I'm wondering, is it triggered by movement, or is it actually seeing us? Like, would a smoke grenade shield us and allow us to just walk through?
It looks to me. I'm going to make a science. My educated guess says that it's based on movement, but I'm going to make a sciencey check on that one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Doo-doo-doo.
if it fired after the cup, it's definitely not going to be like a sensitive thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did seem to react to the movement, but heavy enough smoke wrecks hell with lasers. Like
I recommend the smoke grenade plan might be our best choice.
We can take out three of them from here and move to the defensive position on the map just over there. There's no qualm getting these three down first. It's the last two, which we have no cover from. So let's take out these three. And then we're going to move to the other two and the next one. And the last one, we'll see if is salvageable.
Hey, Chris, really quick question. Is the bot that went offline, is that in this room?
Yes. It's not terribly far from the gate.
Right, because that's what you had us roll perception on to see if it was charred or anything.
Right. You would have to get much closer to take a look at it. Your guess is going to be that it's been lasered to death.
Yeah, no, pretty much. But it's there. We know where it is, and that means we don't have to go hunting.
That's right. So I'm gonna tell or point to the three that we're gonna take out, and then hopefully that'll give us a clear line to use the map as cover to get the last two.
Perfect. Yeah, from where you are, it's not terribly difficult to kind of like, sight them up, carefully fire, take them out, move to the map. The only one that is a problem is there is one last one that you can't quite get an angle on.
So based on the wreckage of the other, can we move freely without triggering the last one, or is it like on Overwatch on it?
You're gonna probably on Overwatch. You think you're in the best position you can get, and you just can't quite get an angle on it. You can take out the other ones, no problem.
Suggestions?
Shoot what we can and smoke it.
Yeah, smoke is probably the better plan.
Okay, we're going to drop a smoke. We're going to move into a better position while it doesn't shoot us, and then we're going to take it out from a better spot.
Okay. Yeah, the room is small enough. The smoke will fairly quickly provide you with ample cover. So yeah, cross out the smoke grenade, but you can definitely get past these.
Done. Okay, after that's done, so is this one room of a building, or is it kind of like one of those old school buildings where it's mostly just one room?
From what you can see, it's so far it looks like it's like a receiving room or something.
Okay, I'm gonna overwatch the door leading out. I'm not opening it yet, and I'm telling Doyle. Doyle, take a look at the map. What's salvageable there? Eris, where the hell are we? Can you figure out if anyone came in after us, or is that technology on those shooty laser things the same as 13th century? It doesn't feel like it.
I am going to investigate these things. Do you want Sam? Do you want to look at the map?
I'll take a look at it.
Okay, I'm gonna science up these things now that I've got more time. Chris, I'm going to use my symbiote advantage to create. I get 2 of these because between long rests. So I'm going to use my advantage on this. Cause that's me.
Oh wow! First critical of the game.
Nice.
Okay. So yeah, you take a look at these, and they're definitely like they're a lower powered laser. They don't look like individually they definitely wouldn't be lethal individually. But I mean, you put enough holes in something, it's gonna notice. They seem to be self-powered, like they're not plugged into any larger power system. They're like little individuals. And they seem to be adhesive, like on the back, like literally somebody just like stuck these on the wall as a security measure, so they could be installed very, very quickly.
More like an ad hoc security system than a built-in.
Sorry, what was that?
They're booby traps.
Yeah.
Sounds like more of an ad hoc security system than something built in.
Exactly.
Right. So the question I'm asking is, are they powered by Naquita or not? Because I can tell, right?
They are not.
Okay. That's good to know.
They do seem to be powered by a very small but very potent battery, though.
Can I salvage one of? Or actually, Sam, is one of you an engineer?
I am.
You might want to salvage some of this.
That was the intention. But I'll take a look
Okay.
at the map quickly if there's anything recoverable.
Yep. I'll bring you the battery and one of these damaged things, and you can play with it to your heart's content. This is
We'll
not
build more.
any of my people or associate people's.
While they're doing that, I'm going to look at the captain. I know Fabien's going to go look at the map. I'm going to say, Captain, can you just confirm that the DHD hasn't been tampered with? We can still get off world. I'm still holding the door.
Sorry, because I'm still learning the acronyms. That's the bot we came in for, right?
The DHD is the dial home device. It's what allows us to operate the gate to go home.
Oh, okay, sorry. So it's not the bot, it's the thing the bot interfaces with.
No, the bot is a probe, the MALP is a bot, and then the DHD is how you dial the Stargate to get back.
Okay.
It's
Sorry,
part of
I'm
Stargate.
learning names.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Guess who's really bad with acronyms? Yeah, I will totally take a look at it. What role do you want for that? I have the astrophysicist. I have the background, which gives me the advantage for this. I don't know if it's science or engineering. I think it would be science because astrophysics is the Eureka the Eureka discovery that specifically ties into this.
Yep, absolutely. So you can make a science roll, and Doyle can give me a engineering roll.
Remember, if you fail on your intelligence or your any intelligence or wisdom roll, that's how you get a Eureka. Right? Eurekas don't come unless you fail a roll.
Right. No, I know. I was just mixing up the names for things. Very nice roll there.
Could be worse.
And it's just basic roll, no bonus because we're in basic. So,
if you just click your the science button on your character sheet, it should roll it for you.
Yep. It comes up and asks me a bunch of questions.
Wow.
Perfect. You guys are like knocking out of the park on
Don't say that, Chris. I remember the roll from Shadow of the Demon Lord.
So Tegan, just by the way, because it's going to come up often, the Stargate is that round thingy that we see.
Yes, I know what the Stargate is.
The DHD is something that interfaces with it. That means so we don't have to actually turn it manually, kind of like a remote control, and it's built next to the Stargate on every world. It also powers the Stargate. So if it's missing, we have to dial it manually, which takes hours.
Right.
And find a power supply.
Okay, so the DHD, which I will try to remember what it stands for, is literally it's the control unit.
Exactly.
It stands for dial home device. It's basically the touch
base. Oh, yeah, dial home device makes sense. It's the controller.
The touchpad with the numbers.
Yep. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember.
Constellations, technically.
Okay,
it's not numbers, it's constellations. But yeah, all at your alley.
It's the dial home device. That's good. And I know what the Stargate is. It's just acronyms I get blurry on. All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. So Doyle, you look over the map. The map it's repairable with some time. I mean, it took a little bit more fire from when you guys came through and everything triggered, but it's definitely repairable. You would know that the person back at Phoenix that handles all of the drones, she's on a turret named Kaylee, Kailee, and she views each and every drone as like one of her children.
Okay, so we'll cover it, but is there any equipment on it that we can carry with ourselves that could be of use in this mission?
It's got some cameras and stuff that you can definitely take them, and like the battery packs and stuff, you don't know how useful they're going to be, but they're definitely something you can take with you.
Any probes like a magnetometer or whatever?
The MALP would have... I wonder if it gives me a breakdown of what the MALP's got.
So before we do that, Fab, it's got cameras, so it probably recorded what happened. So
yeah,
maybe quick recording and see if there's anything valuable there.
Yeah, agreed. We'll see what the recordings have, which are probably a whole bunch of lasers firing on it, but who knows?
That is exactly what it shows.
There's no one. It just gets ambushed, but what we got a shot at, right?
Yeah. Correct. The Mobile Analytical Laboratory Probe, a 6-wheeled remote-controlled drone, can take environmental readings, ambient temperature, oxygen levels, and a visual look at the landscape near the other side of the Stargate. It is also outfitted with a clamp arm. Strength of 16, what the hell? So yeah, when you look at the cameras, yeah, it looks like it does trigger that particular ambush,
Okay.
which is what caused it to cease functioning.
So essentially, it got stuck in the same trap we got stuck in.
Right.
And there's not a lot of carryable equipment that could be of use in a, let's say, long-range mission.
You could probably, if you took some time, you could like strip out like some of the sensors and stuff, and make them into a more portable unit.
Well, I mean, a 4-gas meter is always useful.
Perfect.
And I guess if there's anything that can allow to detect magnetic field or whatever of a major power source in that gold temple, that could be of use also. But we're not going to carry 10 tons of equipment.
Perfect. Yeah, you can cobble together like a, especially you got like a 24 on your engineering, so yeah, you can cobble together kind of like a, almost like a broad spectrum analyzer.
Okay.
So in certain roles, that would give you like advantage on some of the roles.
Fair enough.
In the meantime, Sam, as you look at the DHD, it's intact, it's functional, it hasn't been tampered with at all. But you can with the 22, you can pull out basically the last couple of coordinates that it registered. And that strikes you as odd because normally they don't record coordinates.
So they'll actually. Well, that's strange. I'm gonna try to start basically like I assume I don't have all the coordinates memorized because there's so many combinations. Do I have like? Is there if so I've got a tablet? Do I have any sort of like notes or index of common ones you've established?
Not really, largely because there's too many of them. You do have like some planets, some coordinates. They don't match up with anything. But it appears again because you rolled a 22 that the DHD will have like the outgoing, like the ones you program in when you press the buttons and hit send. It will save like a couple of those in like a buffer. This one
Right.
seems to be recording incoming as well, which is highly unusual.
Right. No. So the reason I was wondering if it had things in there. So like if it's recording incoming, it would have had ours, and it would have had Phoenix 4s, which would say so. Like I'm pretty sure I'd recognize home, and like I was like, are there any like if you see something from this one, it's bad.
Yes, you do notice. Basically, you go, okay, the last one in, that's ours. There's one you don't recognize, and then there are 2 more that you recognize as Phoenix Site.
So
Recognize what?
So someone showed up in between us and Phoenix 4.
Yeah. Should wait.
Yep.
Let's see. Make sure.
The downside of this is also that this DHD is recording our Phoenix 4 chevrons.
Can we
Right.
purge it?
Somebody can give me an engineering roll to purge it. I assume you write down the important ones.
I will, and this is something like I don't know how reporting home works on this, but this is a type of like as soon this is going on our first report back.
Yeah, and like imagine that you have a rotary phone, and then you discover somebody else's phone is able to record the phone numbers incoming and outgoing. This is kind of like a oh shit moment.
I was actually going to use kind of the analogy of like when you watch like I don't know like Leverage or Ocean's 8, and there's that scene where they just kind of plug in you plug in with USB and it just does the decode. It's like, well, fuck. Sorry, we're trying to keep swearing down. My bad.
That's fair.
Well, I guess I pull out my rubber mallet and hit it until it forgets everything.
Wait. Make sure we get the addresses first, then hit it with your
Oh yeah,
mallet
no,
of rubber.
I've got it. I'm actually probably doing it. I have a feeling like while I said like I probably have like a tab, there's probably a level where I'm doing field notes by hand because if this thing breaks, I won't be able to. I need the notes to be able to be transferred even if the technology breaks. So I'm recording I'm making notes of the chevrons. so we can send in a report before they're deleted.
Perfect. All
May I look at the address to see if I might know it?
right. You sure can.
Which ones are like science, investigation,
Culture.
culture?
Let's sec here. Trying to remember what skills they got. They kept from fifth ed and which ones they didn't.
History, insight, investigate.
This would definitely be history. Actually, no. This would be science.
Oh, good. Science is better than history on my part. Let's attempt some science roll. It's a normal. I don't have advantage.
Ooh.
So, is that a failure?
Good news is you get an Eureka point.
That's the good news. That's what I wanted. Nope.
So
I do
So
not
it's-
recognize this address.
But it stands to reason, since the gate can only be open for so long at a time, unless they extended the gate to its maximum time, that whoever showed up did not take Phoenix 4 with them. Because there is no outgoing to those coordinates or any other coordinates since we came in.
And there's also a good chance that they're the ones that are responsible for these stick-on laser grid.
So assume that there's a hostile force in play. We're going to open this door shortly. I need you to get positions. And Iris, get behind me.
Understood.
Chris, when we're in position, we have everything we need. We're going to open this door. See what's on the outside.
Okay. So the door opens up into what looks like it has elements of a Goa'uld temple. Eres has seen plenty of these in their time. It doesn't have the same cultural motifs, but it is definitely like there's the iconography on the walls, of the people worshiping their god and all that. All of the iconography is intact, but it has a different kind of cultural bent to it.
So it's pompous enough. It's just a different alphabet.
Exactly.
And we can't recognize which Goa'uld it's in service to.
You can give me
Is there anything around?
Culture roll.
Woohoo!
Chris, while he's taking a look at the letters, I'm making everyone to the sign of the two fingers to the eyes. Look around. I want to know if there's more of those stick-on things, and we're just walking into another ambush.
Gotcha.
Is it actually? I mean, that being said, so if he's, I also want to make sure to do a look towards things low to the ground.
Okay.
Because the two easiest ways to hide things are on the ground where no one looks, and up above where no one looks.
So yeah, as you guys kind of make your way down, kind of like quietly keeping an eye out, eyes on your six, all of that fun stuff. No sign of any other booby traps. It looks like the gate room definitely was trapped, but the rest of it, not so much. And Iris, as you're looking, you're like, I'm not sure. And then you come to one particular carving in the wall. Looks like a very large man. Maybe on a battlefield, and just devastating the troops in front of them. They're being, seared with this ray. Not unlike depictions of the Kalkesh. That sort
So
of thing.
is it like Ares looking at Ares?
No. But what draws your attention, you're like, okay, this is definitely like showing like, the Goa'uld, decimating enemies. That's definitely a ribbon device. But the figure, the primary figure, the one you're presuming to represent the Goa'uld, has like the face is misshapen, which is unusual because the Goa'uld normally prefer attractive hosts. So the face itself is disfigured, and it only has one eye.
One eye.
That's something for the journal.
Isn't that meant to scare people, I guess?
No. Most of our kind prefer Nice visages.
So, other than Cyclops here, is there anything else that's worthwhile to stick around for? Because we still have to find a Phoenix 4.
I can do this when we come back.
Take some pictures. We'll look at it later from when we're not looking for a hostile force.
Yes. Let us
We have
continue.
people to save.
Chris, we move on. And I know the cultural people want to take more pictures and stuff, but it's kind of a mission to fulfill.
Yep. So yeah, you do like snap some quick photos. Continue to move through this, and it's weird. Like it's empty. You don't hear any voices. You don't see any people. And you make your way. It looks like there was like the kind of the central reception area, and then the hallway or the corridor that you left from. It opens up into a foyer, and then there's a door that leads to the outside, but no sign of people anywhere. But at the same time, no dust on the ground or anything either. Like it's not like it's been sitting abandoned for ages. But no sounds from outside either. No voices. No.
There's no burning houses, is what you're saying. They haven't been just raided but destroyed.
Right. It is quiet.
Their gods are missing.
There were no gods here in the first place. The gods might have come here and asked them to go somewhere to petition or pray or wherever the hell they do. But let's keep our voices low. Chris, does this area open into like a center square with buildings around, or does it just open into an open area, or is there cover somewhere? How do we get from this building to the next set of covers, basically what I'm asking?
It opens out into kind of a central courtyard area. Kind of like this. A variety of different structures. Ignore the people walking there. There's no actual people, but it's the only picture I could find that was suitably jumbled. Incidentally, if you're a fan of classic television shows, this is from the city where The Prisoner was filmed and set.
Interesting. So we're coming through those columned areas in the back, is what I understand.
You're coming into an area that looks roughly like this. Don't so much think of this as a map as just a impression.
Okay. So
Good question. So is that temple in the middle of nowhere, or is it surrounded in the middle of city, I guess?
It's a village.
Okay.
You definitely wouldn't call it a city, but again, it's quiet. There's no people around.
What about other noises, non-people noises?
You don't hear any. You don't hear any animals. But whoever has the best perception can give me a perception check.
And
That might be me. Let me check.
I have a +4, but
I got +3.
I have +4.
I am a +2. Do not ask me for perception.
sorry, I was looking at persuasion. I'm a +1.
So it looks like Tanner is your perceptor.
Oof.
So you guys have kind of peeked your head out the door, looked around. You don't see anything. You don't hear anything. At least not initially.
Okay, so I'm going to take a look at Captain. I think her name is Tanner. And I'm going to make those nice little military signs in all quietness, point to that low-hanging wall across the garden, and try to get to the next structure that has pillars as cover.
I'll
So
nod.
I'm gonna-
Out of character, quick question. Do you think we have a standard moving order of you first, me last?
I would send you ahead because I'm going to overwatch you in this case.
Okay, so we tend to alternate then. One of us goes forward, the other stays back. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
okay.
hopscotch.
So yeah, I will do my thing. I assume I need to do some sort of stealth or whatever.
No, I mean, you're stealthy. Generally, I only make people roll if there's a chance that you could be spotted. So yeah, you do like standard military cover. One person covers, the other person moves, and then back, and you get everybody across into some more cover. But when you get to the other side, when you get to kind of like crouching behind this low wall, Tanner, you pick up this kind of like humming sound, like a quiet humming sound, and a crunching sound off to your east. The crunching sound, an 18. The crunching sound sounds like something moving over stone, something heavy moving over stone.
Okay, I point to one of the lip of one of the buildings, and I stow my P90, and I try to give Tanner a boost up, so she can get up higher, so she might be able to get a better sight line on whatever the hell's over the building.
So basically, try to get me up on the wall, but not completely out of cover.
I'm on top of this thingy here that I'm kind of like flipping. I don't know where
right.
that is or whatever.
Sorry,
but
I have this bad habit of leaving my character sheet open so I can see stuff, or so I don't see what's on the map that much. Okay, yep, that makes sense. So
I assume this is a small wall going over here, and I'm trying to lift you to help you get up to that side, so like that you can get a vantage point from up there.
All right.
Yeah.
And what does this humming kind of? You said sort of like a crunching, like sounds almost like a. Is it like electronic hum as well as the crunch noise, or anything else?
Yeah, like an electronic hum and a crunching noise.
Kind of almost like the sound we heard before the lasers.
No.
No, more like a giant mecha stepping on something.
Right.
Like the server is going.
All right, so I will get up with his help and do a perception, I guess, or is it really blatantly obvious?
All right. So when you get up to kind of a vantage point, you look down, you see moving like a street, maybe 2 streets over from your current location. You see these 2 like quadruped robots. Kind of like well, everybody's seen like the Boston Dynamic robots, the Spot robots. Kind of like that. But they have like these 2 kind of pincher arms on like pintle mounts on their shoulders, and a what looks like a firearm of some sort on their back. And walking with them, kind of handling them, guiding them. You're not sure at this point. You see 2 individuals, human looking, wearing like gray pants, gray tunic, very like neat and crisp. And you see they kind of stop. One of them nods, and they motion. They seem to be controlling these robots through hand motions, maybe. And it goes with its little like robot pincher, and it like opens the door, and it goes in, and then it basically drags out a body. The body looks horribly bloated.
Bloated means probably been dead for a while, so there's that.
And then it basically kind of like lifts it up with like one of its pinchers, so it's not dragging it on the ground, and then they just keep going. And it looks like they're going from house to house, but 2 streets or so away from you.
And they're going house to house. It means are they pull out any more bodies, or like how are they carrying it? Does it look like they're like? Does it look like they're just kind of like bring out your dead, piling them up, or is there actually care being taken with the bodies?
Nope. The robot basically has grabbed one of them and is just like hoisted it off the ground with its robot arm.
So very much like it's just luggage.
Yep.
Hoisted. Is the body falling apart?
No.
Interesting. Okay. I also assume does the body look is the body humanoid?
Humanoid. It's horribly bloated, and they're a couple streets away, so you can't really tell.
Of course. All right. I'm going to pass on that there are 2 humanoids with quadruped robots that they're going door to door and seem to be removing bodies with not a whole lot of ceremony.
Okay, Captain, use the sight on your P90. Take a look. If the bodies are bloated and Phoenix 4 came here yesterday, it's not enough time for it to be bloated. Are we walking into an area with a contagion, or are they? What is going on here?
I thought I was looking through binoculars of sorts, but I'll do the look again.
Give me a medicine roll.
Because if there's a contagion, we're going the fuck back.
Actually,
No
we're
clue.
not. We're stuck here.
Yeah, no idea, but I believe the failed intelligence check, so you do get Eureka point.
Medicine is wisdom.
Better question: where have they been, and where is ahead of where they're going? So we can check to see what was there before, and then potentially we can head them off and see where are they going to that they haven't opened the door yet.
Quick question: are they collecting the bodies as garbage, or are they harvesting the bodies as a resource for something?
All
Right now
tendencies-
they're just carrying the body from, and I will sort of gesture, like, and I'm down low, sort of like from, over in this area, and they're traveling over that way. They're a couple streets over.
Yeah, so, and, partway down, they kind of stop at another building, bring another body. The one robot passes it, so, like, one of the robots now has a body in each of its articulated arms. So it looks like, they can only carry 4 with them. Like, they're not stacking them on or anything like that. They're literally just carrying them around like luggage just off the ground.
Right.
Okay, so let's go into one of the houses they've already been in, or figure, are they leaving now that they're got 4 pincers full? What are they doing?
If you wait long enough, once the other robot has like gotten its 2, then they do leave. They start moving out of the area.
Okay, so we're gonna use that as a cover opportunity to try to go in the homes that they opened the door to. We're gonna go in there and take a look. Can you guys feel okay with that? I'm looking at my sciencey people because I don't know what's going on here in terms of bodies.
Look, I mean, if there's any contagion, we're already exposed.
So better know what we're facing than not.
Well, not necessarily with contagion, but if we're not already exposed, just don't touch the bodies.
Okay, so let's go into one of the houses that is already checked. At least they won't be checking there. Find some kind of information as to what happened.
Yeah, true.
Chris, is that easy since they're going away?
Yep. So yeah, you wait for them to move out of the area, kind of like go around, kind of back the way they came from. So you're kind of going to the first house that they visited. So you're as far behind them as you can be.
I look at Eris while we're doing this. It's like, is this familiar? Have you ever seen a dog robot crab thing like that before?
I'm gonna assume, Chris, my answer is a big fat no.
Nothing like this. Again, I mean, it's advanced technology, but it's not that advanced. Seeing these things in action, like they're not at like the Gwalt level. They're not at the Tok'ra level. They're not at the Tolan level.
We'd still like to get our hand on it.
These robots are more advanced than the Atari, but less advanced than the Tolan. If that gives you a perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not quite at this level of we don't this Atari don't quite have this level of control. They I don't know if it's a haptic rig or something. We might be able to do close, but they seem to be responding to gestures.
Haptic or not haptic, let's get into this house and figure out what's going on here.
So yeah, getting into the house is easy. Like they didn't close the door up after them or anything like that. It's a like, small house, and everything in this house is like the tech level you expect. There's no weapons. There's
12th, 13th century. Again, not
Yeah.
the level of tech we just saw. This is what expected for our trip.
exactly.
So, if
Are
we
we
go
being
around the
deceived,
house,
though?
is there? Sorry. If we go around the house, is there any signs left of how people could have died? Was there any signs of violence?
Investigation time.
Somebody can give me an investigation with
My investigation roll is a +5, so I don't know if that's good for where everyone else is.
I'm +4.
Good.
You're better. However, where I'm interested in, because we obviously know that people are dead. I'm actually looking around if there's any dead animals.
Gotcha. All right. So Ares can give me an investigation with advantage.
Ooh, advantage.
Yeah.
I am going to cover the door again, overwatching in case.
Boom!
Ooh.
So So Nas keeps an eye on the door just in case anything comes back. The Ares and Doral kind of start taking a look around. No sign of a struggle, no sign of violence. You do find what could probably be described as some shed tissue, like kind of like in the bed, on one of the chairs.
A leper shed tissue or like a snake shed tissue?
More like a leper.
Ew.
Hmm.
And so I'll assume that Sam is a part of this as well, specifically looking for animals. And there are some. You do find what looks like what may have been like a pet dog, or something that's hard to say. It's very, very bloated. It was definitely a small fur-bearing animal of some sort. Not small enough to be a pest, not large enough to be a bear.
But the important thing is that the death seems to have affected, it's verifying the
Yeah, it does seem to affect different species. And you notice that the robots only took out the humanoid bodies. They just left the animal here.
and since it's bloated, probably within a same window of time, since it was just left here as well. Like, it wasn't like it died before the humans, or if it did, it was a short enough time that the humans couldn't deal with the dead domestic.
Correct.
Captain Tanner, remind me to request some kind of medic on our next mission.
This seems like a disease. I believe the Tall call it leprosy.
That may be poison. This thing looks squishy.
We have
Whatever
a
it
medic.
is, I think we should dial back and warn the command. I mean, if we disappear, we don't want them to send them another team that's unprotected against this contagion.
It would be a prudent thing to warn Phoenix Site that there could be a possible contagion here, and that we will require what is the Tari word for cleaning?
Decontamination. We should
That's
also
one.
warn
Thank
them
you.
that there are. We should also warn them there are potential unfriendlies, and the all coordinates through the DHD are being recorded.
We
I
should also
agree.
send them back the coordinates that we established that had dialed between us and the other Phoenix team.
I agree with all of this. We are dialing, sending the information through radio. Our mission remains to try to ascertain the location and if Phoenix 4 is still alive.
It is as you say.
Okay, so we're going to backtrack to the gate. We're going to try to dial a gate and send a message to them saying this, send them what we have, send them our audio and video files that we've recorded and taken pictures of, and say that we are still going for the search and rescue at this point with an unknown entity in play. Hostile or not, we don't know yet.
Does the gate open enough that we can shove through the busted robot too?
Yes.
I mean, that way we don't have to deal with it when we bug out. So
Yeah, I'm not sure we want to push it there. I mean, it might also have been exposed to something.
Yeah, we're not sending anything physically back.
Okay, just the radio signal.
Yeah, no contact, no physical contact. We don't want to risk infection.
At least, I mean, if they have the pictures of the dog, everything we've seen, maybe they can figure out what it is on their side. Give us some information.
Okay.
And to prep a clean room, the only thing that I tell the Major, Captain, General, whatever his name is, my boss, is that if we need to come out, there needs to be a clean room on the other side for us to enter in. Because if we come in under fire or whatever, or we need to exit quickly, we can't wait a half hour to enter and then expose the base.
Roger that. So yeah, and I assume, are you sending through like the pictures you took of the carvings and everything as well?
yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, so you guys get back, you dial back, send through your report. They will have a clean room ready for you. Basically, like they initiate decontamination protocols. It's standard Stargate procedure.
Okay. We said we were going to try to make contact with locals. They're dead. We said we were going to take a look at the map. It's not operational. Captain, where would Phoenix 4 have gone? Let's go that way.
I'm a scientist, not a mind reader.
Well, they must have exited the town. The closest exit to town, if we took a look at our high-res maps of the area, roll out,
right.
looks like this area, and then they would have broken out into the forest. So if we assume that a day ago, when they radioed in saying that they were going to go into the wilderness, they made it there.
Yeah, no, that is definitely a likely plan. And if they came out right in the middle of a dead city, it's very weird they didn't report this back. Would they have gone for the? Is there a standard protocol for going to like an order of attacking sites in order of if the easier first or the harder first? Just this is a question of like protocol that would I know.
It's generally up to the individual teams. A lot of teams will hit the hardest objective first. That way they're fresh.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, so they're not as constrained as they would have been, but they're still probably going to have gone probably the uphill route because that would have been more difficult. But once we get out of the city, we might be able to also start looking for or from other villages, we can also start looking for any sort of tracks of passage.
Okay, so if we're going to this part of the city to get out, looks like this is our shortest route there. Let's stay low. Let's get there. So, Chris, we map out a very hasty go this direction till we get to the edge of the city, and that's our plan of attack, and hopefully we don't run into anyone on the way.
All right. Who is the first one out the door?
That is always me.
Give me a perception check.
Ooh.
The dice don't lie.
All right. So as you kind of open the door, take a look out. You're just about to step out, and you catch the glint of sunlight on metal from 5, maybe 6 different spots.
Like, are you saying I see the glint of sniper scopes, or there's a bunch of robots closing in on me?
Definitely not robots. It's just a glint off of small amounts of metal, probably 6 of them from various points around you.
Like someone trying to flash a mirror at us and try to get our attention?
Like somebody who is taking a bead on the door.
Okay, then I...
So the original with the sniper.
Yes, the sniper one. Duck backwards very quickly. Is there another... I think there are people watching us. Is there another way out of this building, Chris?
Not one that you've seen.
We're in the house still, right?
Yeah, you're in the temple, for lack of a better term.
Right, we're in the temple because we used the
we dialed back
to send the information back, right?
All right,
Correct.
I'm going to use my superpower because I have a Eureka point. I'm going to use the archaeologist feat that I have that lets me determine whether there's a hidden room or not.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to spend my Eureka and locate any secret chamber or otherwise hidden rooms with a structure no longer than 20 meters square per proficiency bonus. My proficiency for this is it's perception, boo.
Well, it's your proficiency bonus, which is +2 at first level.
Yes, +2. So I'm going to blow my Eureka to find me if there is a secret chamber. It doesn't tell me how, but it does give me an advantage to look for one.
It's always behind the statue of the god.
Always.
Okay. All right. So yeah, as you're kind of making your way through the complex, you're looking for another exit, trying to see if there's another way out that's not the front door. You stop for a second, and one of the little kind of side chambers, it doesn't look like it's quite the same size as like, there's like 3 or 4 chambers off of one of the corridors. One of those does not look like it's the same size as the other ones. You probably wouldn't notice it, except for the fact that you are a trained archaeologist.
This room is asymmetrical from the others.
Specifically, it looks like you're not sure if the floor is closer to the ceiling or if the ceiling is closer to the floor, but height-wise, the room is not the same size.
They have employed perspective of some kind in this room. It is not correct, the rest of them.
Captain, Lieutenant, give him a hand in there. Figure us another way out. Chris, I'm going to use a mirror or something to like not put my head out the door. I'm going to try to gain try to figure out what's going on out there.
Okay. You can give me a perception check. Those of you that are searching the room, somebody can give me investigation with advantage.
Woohoo! I have a +5 advantage, so I'll go with that. Or someone else.
Are you for real?
Jesus.
20?
Nat 20. Boom.
This is the opposite of Shadows of the Demon Lord.
Gonna call Nat and Nat.
So, who was doing this perception check?
Nas is kind of taking a look outside with the little signal mirror, see if he can get a better bead on the situation outside.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So I have to do the one on the inside. All right.
Yeah.
Chris,
what's your investigation bonus?
Chris, you can wait on me after they do theirs. I have to get a glass of water.
Yeah. I did terrible in my investigation. That was terrible.
It's still good enough though.
Wow.
As you kind of look around and you're like, okay, this room doesn't add up. There's something not right, and whatever it is that's not right is either in the floor or in the ceiling.
Yep.
And you kind of look around and Doyle and Tanner both kind of give you a hand, and you're like pushing stones and seeing where something gives, and you find something that goes click. And a section of the floor kind of pops up slightly and then slides back.
Interesting. So, is
and
there any light?
well, there's a little bit of light that's filtering the room, or your flashlights, or whichever.
Okay.
The little alcove is empty, but without a doubt that is exactly the right size for a Goa'uld sarcophagus.
Ah.
But the sarcophagus is not there.
But the sarcophagus is not there.
This does not bode well.
I'm back, Chris.
Okay. Meanwhile, outside, as you're kind of like, you got a little mirror and you're like checking the corners and stuff, and you do see some individuals. They're dressed in not intentional camouflage, but like they've taken like some dirt and rubbed it on their clothes and stuff to kind of blend in a little bit, kind of moving around, trying to get like a better position. All of them seem to be armed with like bows and arrows.
And they're closing on us?
They're not really closing on you. It looks like that they're just trying to get into a better position to make sure that they have eyes on the door.
So there are natives of a certain variety that are angling their bows and arrows, 12th century bows and arrows, aiming at the door in case of anything.
Yes.
Based on just what I see of those arrows, do they have range?
Yeah. I mean, a good bow's got a range of like 200 yards.
And they're within that range, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you guys find back there? There's some potential hostiles over here. There's some people.
We found a lack of a sarcophagus.
A definite lack of a sarcophagus.
There was a lack of a sarcophagus last I checked.
No.
Small alcove that we can hide in. That's all.
Would you like me to perhaps go out and address the natives?
Do you want to get shot at?
I don't think they'll shoot at me.
I mean, they'll shoot at you, but they might not hit you. Yeah, get over here.
Allow me to attempt to address them.
I mean, you definitely don't look like the people who are with the robots, and you definitely don't look like us. So it might be
That is
less
true.
to shoot you.
That is the how you Tori would say play if there was some game involving the ball of the foot.
Right. So instead of the ball, we're going to use your face, and you try to make contact with those people.
Understood. I will step out confidently as if I own the place because it's a gold temple and I'm technically a gold.
I'm going to comment aside to the engineer who's with me. Go. I always thought that expression was about baseball.
Well, I thought there was something about replacing the ball by the face. So to me, that's foot face. Doesn't work.
Chris, I
Chris,
gloriously step out as if I'm as a confident gold stepping out of the temple as if I belong there.
he might step out confidently. I'm less confident, and I'm like giving him some kind of support from the back. I'm not shooting yet, but I'm looking to see how hostile these people are and be in a position where I can overwatch it if required.
And in a loud, booming voice, rejoice, for I am here.
A voice calls back. Who are you? You're not one of the other ones. You can tell that.
I am not. Who am I speaking with?
My name's Anwell.
And well, my name is Eries. May we talk and dispense with the hostilities for a moment? I mean you no harm. Show my hands up in a very, I have no armament they can currently see.
Chris, I know that he's having a speech here, and I'm looking over his shoulder basically from inside with my sniper scope or my scope. What is the feel here? Do they look like they're about to loose arrows? Do I need to intervene yet, or is everything fine?
Give me an insight check. You can see, judging from the glint, there's a bunch of bows about to pincushion him, but nobody's loosing arrows yet.
I whisper sort of loudly so he can hear me, but nobody at that distance they can. I'm like, they are tracking you. You might need to drop very quickly.
He doesn't say anything back, but there's like a subtle shrug of the shoulder to indicate that he understood you.
I'm letting you do your thing.
Yes. Please, let us discuss in a mutually beneficial place. I have some excellent spirits that I am willing to share.
Well, that's the best offer I've had in a while. Not here though.
No, of course not. Where would you suggest me and my companions, entourage, can be? They
follow
also
us.
mean you no harm.
That's good. And you see, like, probably about a half dozen or so people kind of like, they don't step out of the shadows, but they make their presence obviously known to you. And one of them does step forward, a older gentleman, probably like late 50s, like close cut gray hair, dressed in, he's got like hose and a tunic sort of thing. The sort of clothing you would expect for this area based on your briefing.
He's a man in tights.
Yes. It's like, come this way. Let's move quickly before they come.
Yes. My companions will come with us. They will sheathe their weapons. We will be civil. I say in a slightly pitched with the white eyes voice.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to move forward slowly with my hands off of my weapon. Do they react when they see how I'm dressed versus how he's dressed?
overly. You have the feeling that it's probably not the strangest thing they've seen.
Okay. And I wave over the rest of our science team.
Yeah, and we follow them, obviously.
And we follow. Well, I'm following Eras.
Yes.
So yeah, this half dozen or so individuals, all of them armed with bows. A couple of them have like long hunting knives. It looks to Nas. It looks very much like hunting weapons as opposed to combat weapons.
Okay, so these are weapons of opportunities. And they know how to use them, but they're still. This is not a military force.
Exactly. And they lead you kind of like out of this little village a ways towards the forest.
Are they? Does it seem like they're trying to avoid the robot people as well?
They definitely have their eyes open, and they kind of like walk with purpose. And then they do lead you to what looks like at one point it may have been like maybe a little hunting blind or something. That until the door opens, you would have mistaken for like a little hillock in the woods.
Okay, so it is a hunting hole. It's not an oubliette.
Correct.
Okay.
Good start.
It's like,
I motion everyone in. I tell the Tanner, I'll close off the march here. I'm going to take a quick look around before I'm the last one through. I just want to make sure that, I know they're hunters. They know the land better, but I want to be the last one through just to make sure that nothing's following us.
No problem. Nothing follows you. But as you make your way here, the gentleman that's leading you, Anwell, he it's like, I saw some more of your kind come through. But then you're not like, well, maybe you are, but you're not like the ones that came, the ones with the gray, the ones that brought death upon them.
We are not. Where did the ones that we are here in search of the ones of ours who came before, not the ones in gray. Do you know which way they went?
Probably took them to the old jailhouse.
Do you know where
were they taken?
I do not know. I know that some of us have banded here. Most of the village died. Some were taken to the old jail.
Did others of your village die because these people with gray have arrived?
They arrived, and then shortly thereafter, there was a dark fog that settled upon the village.
A dark fog, you say?
Dark fog. People choked on it. People bled from their eyes.
Okay, so I look straight to the scientist here, and I kind of do the like, what the fuck?
Sounds like a gas attract.
You are saying that these gray tunicked with their strange mechanical animals brought pestilence upon your city?
Yes.
We understand, and I'm very sorry for that. Would you like some, how the Tories say, chocolate? And obviously, spirits, as I've offered. Erius makes good on his, like, hey, I promised you stuff, and I'm not going to be that guy that welches on it. So here, have things.
They are very, very happy to get it, and you get the feeling that some of these people, like, they maybe haven't eaten in like a day or so.
I got that impression. I will share rations with them too. I'm going to do everything I can to like be.
That's cruel
like,
and inhumane, sharing rations.
So while Eris is sharing rations, I grab the other military folk and I say, if these people are approximately our level of technology, that doesn't sound like. Does it sound like mustard, sarin, something like that?
Could be a lot of different chemicals, but I don't know which. What would be the end goal? What's the gain?
Well, they definitely emptied out the village.
Clear the slate, obviously.
Give me an intelligence check there, Ares.
Woohoo! I got those in the spades. Normal?
Yes.
Okay. Intelligence says... Oh, that would have been better. Nope.
It says you get a Eureka point.
Yeah, that's something.
There is something kind of nagging at the back of your mind or your minds, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
Okay, the upside is if it's a cloud that came down and people died, it has since dispersed since they were walking down the street. So on the upside, probably not a biological weapon.
I believe you, Tari, refer to certain... So it's... I'm trying to prod them, like, is the fog actually, like, visible? Was it a gray cloud? Was it... Did she go to see to die, like, fall over without? Because it's, like... Fox thinks it's radiation. That's why. So I'm going to try and lead, or Ares would try and lead to ask if it, like, the subtle question.
Trades. You keep trying to prompt them for more information, and we try to just write down stuff. And I'm hoping
it sounds like radiation poisoning to me.
I'm going to let our other scientists make those rolls.
Chris, if I pull out my newly built multi-scanner and I turn it on, can I pick up something?
Yeah, you can give me a perception check with advantage because of your scanner.
Well, that's better than my roll.
You're not picking up any residual radiation or anything.
So either we're not contaminated or it could be something else.
But yes, and the other kind of leader, or sorry, it seems a woman named Maegan. Freaking Welsh names are weird to pronounce. Maegan.
Y's and TH's.
I was there. I don't know. I saw friends die, but I don't know why I didn't.
You were there?
I was there. It was during market. I was setting up my stall.
Lieutenant, can you scan her?
Yeah, sure.
So
do I need to do anything else to scan her? Sorry.
Sorry, Chris, my quick one is, am I detecting any naquita anywhere around here? Like, does she have any naquita in her bloodstream? Because that would be a thing that I could tell, and that would give me the idea of this is why she didn't get killed by whatever that weapon was.
There is like a slight trace. Like, she's not a symbiote or has been a symbiote.
No, but she's got the genome.
She's got the genome.
She has the genome.
So
wait, do they all have it?
Sorry. Doyle, for scan, this would be, in this case, be medicine. Again, with advantage because you do have the scanner.
Bleh. Nope.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing unusual there.
Okay.
But to Erie's, the genome would count as like it's a cultural thing, right? Like it's that you're one of the chosen. Do they all seem to have that like trace of it? That's why they haven't been affected.
To varying degrees.
It was a culling. Wait a second. Can you give me a moment with my team?
Absolutely.
So I gesture to pull you guys away out of earshot.
What are we dealing with here?
It is my thought process, our thought process, that the other humans here who this is a culling. Each of these survivors has a trace amount of naquita in their bloodstream, which means that they could be considered suitable as hosts, which means that anybody else in this village that does not have this specific, I believe you, Tari, call this genome, would have been culled.
But
This
whatever
sounds like
affected
someone
them,
climbing Jaffa.
but whatever affected them came and went. Otherwise, we would have died in the town.
Yes. It was a concentrated attack.
I mean, most aerosol attacks, whether they are gas or even genetically targeted, do disperse. They're meant to be short term.
But
I
it's
guess
not
they get damaged by UV rays from the sun.
and it's not biological, it's chemical, is what you're telling me too.
To a certain degree, yes. It looks like the attack targeted to ensure there were naquita levels in someone's bloodstream to survive. As you, Tari, the mission reports from SG-1 talk about how those of us who are in harmony with ourselves have different chemicals in our bloodstream as those of you who are not joined. And so...
That's fair. My question is, does that mean that Phoenix 4 is dead?
I do not know. We can go back and they might be able to tell us where they went, and we can go looking.
Well,
it could be that it could be that the cloud only targeted the town and not anywhere else. And if Phoenix 4 was in the forest looking for herbs and mushrooms, they may still be okay, or they may have been picked up after the cloud was dispersed.
If they were picked up after the cloud was dispersed, or they survived, they were taken to the prison. So if they were trying to come back, they were picked up, because if they were trying to come back now, they would be able to make it now, tentatively.
So, who's this group making the cleanup now?
Those are the people who came from that other Stargate.
In the gray, that is the unknown address that came in between our addresses that we need to investigate.
I'm going to hand Ares the detailed UAV map that we probably had over this area when this was first scouted. And I'm going to tell him, Ares, go over to your people over there and figure out which of these buildings is this supposed prison.
I shall do so. So I'll take the tablet and go over to the two I've been talking to and ask them to say this is an advanced map that the gods have given me, or whatever whatever's appropriate to the local lore to make science seem like magic. To ask them to point out which square is the jail.
Yeah, they don't even hesitate. I mean, they hesitate momentarily when they look at the technology, but Stargate tends to kind of gloss over that whole Clark's Law thing.
Yeah.
And once they figure out, what exactly they're looking at, they very quickly point out the jail. It looks like to your more cultured mind, since it is a high res map, maybe a castle, not a castle, like a tower.
Chris, do these people look like they're ready to break, or they look they're ready to revolt and get revenge?
Give me an insight check. I'll give you advantage because of your particular background.
Oof.
You've been around people like this. These are people like they've lost friends, they've lost family, they've lost loved ones. They would very much like to bloody some noses and get some revenge.
I look over to Lieutenant Doyle. Doyle, on the map, there's normally spare ammo and weapons. Did those survive the attack?
So, Chris, how many survived, if any? Or what's easily repairable, at least?
I would say you could probably get a couple like small arms out of it. Nothing. You're not going to be able to put together like a machine gun or anything, but you could probably put together a couple of small arms off of the bits and pieces and spare weapons and stuff that are on the map.
Like 2 or 3 P90s and a few sidearms?
Yeah, the Melps generally carry some excess gear, so.
Okay.
Okay, so not for right now, but we know we can arm them if we need to. Aries, can you get whoever is good at scouting to help us get to the prison and see what kind of evil is there and see if we can help or get help smiting it?
Yeah, I will do so. So obviously he goes back to the natives and attempts to bargain, chat up, and do what he needs to do to get them to see if they can give us a clear route to the prison so we can go in and attempt to extract our people.
Okay. Give me a persuasion check. This is just kind of to gauge the quality of the information you get initially.
Cool. I'm gonna blow my second advantage dice of the evening. Persuasion is not my hottest topic, but I'll take it anyway.
Yeah. So the Anmal says, I will lead you. I know the streets and I know the woods. I can get your scouts close enough. We haven't seen more than a couple of the ones in gray and their creatures. We do not believe their contingent is large.
Okay, so this is my tentative plan, Aries. We're going to go over there. We're going to take a look at the prison, see what kind of forces we're dealing with. Our objective is to free the prisoners. We have two options at that point in time. Either one, the opposing force is large enough to make us scatter, in which case we close back to the Stargate and we get these people out of here. If it is something that we can overcome, however, we will make our stand. We will get rid of these oppressors and we'll get more information as to what the hell is going on here.
Understood. We can offer you sanctuary in Haven, our place, once this is done, and we will go and free our people. You helping us will help endear yourselves to Tari, who I'm sure will accept you with open arms as we build our new community beyond the gate. I spin it whatever I need to do, because that's what I do.
I'm looking over the rest of my team and seeing what their impression is of this plan.
I mean, you're asking a scientist who's not you're looking at a scientist who's not a technician, but I mean, on surface it sounds to make sense. If we need to go we need to go to the prison that their people, or our best lead so far is the prison that their people are also in, and we kind of have been trying to make treaties with every race that we can, so
I mean, attacking the prison will be the hardest part of this mission. And if our people are not there while going to the forest is going to be a piece of cake compared to this. And we might have picked up some allies at the same time to cover more ground. I guess prison first.
And I'm pretty sure you're curious if we can get our hands on one of those robot dogs.
Robot controllers, whatever. I mean, we have a lot to gain, potentially.
Okay. If we come under fire, Captain, we're going to rely on you to get that gate open ASAP.
understood.
Okay. So, Chris, we're going to ask our Eries, ask our friends when's the best time to try to make our way to that prison. And we're going to count on them to get us from here to there, and then to fade a little bit into the background and to let us figure out what we're going to do at that point.
Works for me. I will do so.
Towards nightfall would be the best. The land around the prison is open, so cover of darkness would be a benefit.
Please tell me somebody else took a tack helmet, or am I the only one with night vision? Okay, I'm the only one with night vision.
Is
Is
that
that
part
in
of
the
our regular gear?
I added it to my sheet because it's just a helmet,
Okay.
and it was a soldier option. So
See, it looks like Tanner has one as well.
all right, Tanner, you're with me. Let's Chris, narrate us getting to the town.
All right. So Tanner and Nas are basically doing recon.
Yeah, we're gonna take a look and see what our opposition looks like. Everyone else is a little bit further back, but yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So the scouts will get everybody close enough, and then and we'll take the two scouts closer. So yeah, it is like a small keep, just kind of like on the outskirts of the town, kind of between the town and the woods. The land has been largely cleared around it, but there are a few scattered trees here and there. There's definitely you notice right away that there is power in that building. There are like some lights on, definite electrical power in that building.
Is there someone on the top guarding it, or is it just on the outside? Do we see any perimeter guards?
Okay, give me a perception check, whichever one of you is better.
Probably me.
I've got +1. I'm helping her.
Sorry, getting my character. Yeah, my perception is a +4.
Right. You do get advantage because I assume people are helping.
Oh, how does advantage work? I rolled before you said that.
Yeah, just roll again and then take whichever one is highest.
They're a 1 point difference. 16's the best.
So yeah, as you're looking, and basically, I always assume helping on perception is kind of like, oh, is that something over there? Oh, did I hear something? Look around. You do see there's like one of those quadruped robots that seems to be on patrol. What draws your attention, though, what really draws your attention, is the two individuals on patrol carrying mattock staffs.
Oh, that's not good. Wait a minute. Robots and mattock staffs?
There are two individuals with mattock staffs and one robot. It is a weird combination that you've never seen of or heard of before.
How long is the total time for them to do their patrol?
Oh, probably it's a good amount of time. Like they don't seem like they're expecting trouble. They're definitely on guard, they're definitely patrolling, but they're not on high alert or anything. They're not lackadaisical, but they're not, you're like, we could probably get in there in the time it takes them to make a circuit.
Like, is it 10 minutes, 5 minutes? Approximately.
By the time they make their way all the way around the building, probably 10.
Okay, Argesh, I forget the name of our ally here.
And well,
if the survivors were kept somewhere in this building, where would they be?
cells are on the ground level and the second level. I mean, we don't have a lot of call for a jail. At least not in my lifetime. So not a lot of cells in there.
Can I take some pictures of this so I can bring it back to our engineer?
Yep.
And I'm going to ask the captain, do you see anything of interest here? Any way in at all that jumps out to you?
I mean, with the perception check, did I? Or is it like not from this side? I could also have, would culture be of use considering we're thinking about how like cultural designs in terms of building construction? Or am I reaching and making wrong connections?
It's more the fact that this is like pretty much a small castle. It's designed to not be vulnerable.
Right. They usually have a single easily guarded entrance. Sometimes there's like a refuge chute, but those are meant to deliberately very small by design.
Exactly.
Vulnerable to high explosives.
Well, yeah, they didn't account for that.
How tall is it?
The whole thing is maybe 4 stories, maybe.
But it's tall enough that it is not even with potential augment easy to scale.
It looks scalable. I mean, it's made of like brick and stone. There's plenty of handholds.
The problem is it would take too long to scale it, considering that the total lap is about 10 minutes.
May I offer
Right.
a distraction?
Well, we're going to take this information back to the group and we're going to share it with everyone and we're going to brainstorm for ideas.
Yep.
Okay, so we bring it back to the rest of the group. I show it to our engineer and our cultural friend here, and I say, this is what we have to do with. Looks like people will probably be, and I stab at the picture, first floor, second floor. There is power inside. Must have some power, portable battery and or generator, but that means that if there's a 2-person patrol and a dog on the outside, and they're keeping lights on the inside, there are more forces inside. Otherwise, there'd be no need for lights on the inside.
So stealth is preferable.
Yeah, I'm against, unless there's another option, I'm against blowing a hole in the wall to get these people out. We don't know how many there are, and we don't know how far separate they are.
Are you familiar with the switch and bait?
Yeah, but how are you going to get them to follow you?
Oh, I'm going to make a very loud noise outside and discuss with their Jaffa things, and that should cause some of them to come out, giving you some level of egress into the building.
Why don't we
I will
scale this
distract them.
using rope and grappling hooks?
Didn't bring a powered grappler, but I mean, we could scale it as soon as the things come, as soon as the patrol is out of the way. We're just adding a length of time.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's something at the mouth we can recover with rope and a hook or something. It's a... How high is that tower?
About 4 stories.
So let's say a story is 2 meters. You're talking about, let's say, 8 to 10 meters.
I mean, we can-
Story would be 3 meters.
Yes,
Yeah.
stories are closer to 3.
Yeah, so about 12 meters up.
It's less than 20 meters tall. How about that? Here's the thing. If we want a distraction, we have to have it away from town. The reason being that this is already on the edge of town. If we need to break and run towards the gate, that means that we need to run through town to the center. So the distraction has to be in the wilderness.
Very well.
So a diversionary attack on one of the teams with a robot while the main group attacks the tower. I mean, they are going to call for backup.
They are.
Okay. When Arlo?
Anwell?
Anwell.
And well,
How many, do we have any idea how many survivors there are? Do we have any idea? You're saying that there are jail cells on the second floor. What are the odds of those being empty?
I would like to think that a number of people survived, but I think that is hope as opposed to fact.
Because I remember mission reports, SG-1 broke out of a similar stone temple area with other prisoners.
do you not have the device that allows you to see through rock?
That was my question going to be my question to Boyle. Is there any kind of I know it's stone. It's not normal plywood and drywall. Is there anything that we could use to see how many people are inside, and or what are our chances of using the map to rig a explosive device to breach a part of the wall and get people out?
I mean, there's bound to be some grenades and a brick or two of C4 on the map right now. I could probably tape something together.
What
No,
about
see-
the ability to see? Because I don't want to blow a wall and there be all the prisoners on the other side of that wall and just turn them into mush. What are our options to be able to see through those walls?
I don't see how we can see through a wall made of stone. However, you took pictures of the place. Are there any? I mean, that tower must not be new. There's probably going to be fractures or cracks between the rocks. Like, there's got to be a weak point we can shape a charge just to do a limited amount of damage and open a hole.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's people on the other side of that wall. We might be just blowing them up.
I will get the science folks can give me a culture or history, and Doyle can give me an engineering check.
I will culture the hell out of this. Advantage or no?
No advantage, no.
So
No
no
advantage.
advantage to me either.
No.
Meh. 14.
Ugh. Wow.
Okay. All right. So Ares, it doesn't make sense. If this is a jail cell, the cells would not be located near the door. They would be further back in the building. So if you're looking for a place to breach, the front is definitely safe. Back is more iffy.
I would not place charges in the rear of the building. The front is the best place to blow a hole, if that is the word you would like to use.
And
Makes sense.
yeah, and Doyle, yeah, you're not sure. I mean, judging from the photos, it looks like it's seen some wear and tear, but you would need to get like closer, get some eyes on, to see how much explosive you would need to breach it.
Okay, so Major, I need to get closer to see where I need to blow it up myself. Now, that being said, I propose we have two charges, one at the weak point and the other one at the door. Again, any diversion might buy us a few seconds we need.
Okay. And otherwise, Ares, you will be causing a distraction somewhere in the forest, loud enough to at least draw the patrol away.
Yes, I will do so.
Okay. How much time do you need, Doyle, to strap a bunch of C4, a grenade, and a battery together with a radio to create a remote controlled bomb here?
So, Chris, how much time to MacGyver something?
Checking now.
Don't you have, as an engineer, don't you have like a literal ability called like blow shit up?
I think we don't get the
Well, I
verbal
have
level thing.
proficiency with explosives.
Yeah, level 2, you get a thing.
Well, this is a perfect in-story reason on how you became an expert on blowing shit up.
Okay. So a little bit of scrap metal container. It would take basically. Well, you're just applying like charges. You're not actually making an explosive device.
No, I'm just modifying anything we have to meet our needs, but
Yep.
I'm not actually making chemicals that they are explosives.
Yep. So setting a breaching charge requires 1 round and 1 action per use expended.
Okay.
So yeah, you need to have your explosives, and then you need about like 15-20 seconds undisturbed.
Okay. Per charge, if I'm going to put 2, it's going to be double that.
No, that's to put 2. Like, that's the nice thing about C4, right? C4 is just a putty. Like, you've got your charge shaped, you just stick it to the wall, press the button.
Okay. So we could make one for the main door and another one for any weak point I find. Sure, so yeah, it shouldn't be too hard.
Okay, then that's our plan. Ares, forest, distraction, figure that out. You can use your friends to help you with that. I don't know if you need to whoop, holler, or scream or whatever.
I will do what I need to do. So I'll take some of the villagers and I'm gonna go make a loud distraction in the forest. Fire off. I'll Chris, what I'll end up doing is probably firing my pistol in the air and shouting very loudly that I am I'm going to pretend to be a system lord or somebody of some Goa'uld importance to be here, or a herald of a system lord to be here to check in on what's going on one of my former fiefdoms and be very loud about things.
How are you going to go back to us if you plan on going face to face with these people? Like, if you
Oh,
think
I'm gonna-
you're going to be in the wilderness, then there's going to be this castle, then there's the town with the Stargate. If you are on the far end of that equation and people are moving towards you, how are you going to get past those to get back to the Stargate?
I will meet you at the Stargate. We'll use the villagers will help me get to the Stargate if things go awry.
We'll hold the gate till you get there.
Understood.
Chris, I have a
Yes.
question for you, Smartwise. Would it be best if I help Ares and his villagers get back to the Stargate, since they're likely going to deal with the bulk of since they're doing distraction, they're going to deal with the bulk of the offensive? Or should I stay with the captain and the engineer trying to free the soldiers or the prisoners?
I actually think that the distraction should be to be fair, the distraction should be actually at the Stargate. If I come out of the Stargate or pretend to come out of the Stargate and do the same thing I did with the villagers, but in a larger, grandiose voice using my special Goa'uld voice, then I can address and draw people to the Stargate, which draws them away from the prison, which lets you guys get in, and then you guys can get back to us. And whether you have to blow a hole in the side of the temple to get back in, to get to the gate, it'll be easier than having to fight these throngs of people.
But if we move everyone from the tower to the gate, then we need to fight our way through those people anyway to get to the gate.
You can get around. If you go around and blow a hole in the back of the Goa'uld temple, not where the gate is, you can come in through one of the antechambers instead of the front door. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's a lot of explosives.
That's where I'm going to go. Like, the goal is to move them away from our critical path. Our critical path is the gate.
The play is I step outside of the temple. I address whatever they are. They take me to their leader. You guys can get to the gate, and I figure out my way back, or we cover our way out. As long as I can circle them around and lead them on a merry chase, we should be fine.
You feel exceedingly, or you sound exceedingly confident that you can get around an armed Jaffa military force?
I have been a Tok'ra spy and a consort to a system lord for generations. I am not concerned.
Okay, then. Then you're going to draw them away from the tower. We're going to free the people. We're going to hold the gate, and we're going to wait for you. And our expectation is you're going to be running, and you're going to be trailing an entire Jaffa platoon.
I will be able to hold the ruse long enough until they see through it, and at that point, I should be making my way towards the gate. We will arm these villagers with the appropriate armaments to allow them to help me fall back in cover, and off we go.
Okay, Chris, that's the plan. This is a little crazy.
So let's repair these guns, whatever we've got left and can build, and hand them out to whoever.
I mean, they're just going to make noise because they're not going to be able to hit anything.
They're boomsticks.
Yeah, exactly. These people are not trained, but they will make noise, and it'll help Ares and his distraction. But the goal is to draw the troops away from the tower and away from the gate, so we can extract the prisoners who they will be unarmed, get them to the gate. We hold the gate, and then we're waiting for Ares or Eries, the rest of the scouts, and we're exfiltrating from the gate.
Perfect. All right. So we will say that, in case it matters to anybody, we will say that this qualifies as a short rest.
Sure.
Just while
Doesn't do anything to me.
While you're doing everything, and this is Doyle getting the explosives ready, cleaning up some weapons. Anwell and his people will go with Eries to figure out where they're going to set their distraction. And then as skilled hunters, they basically will lay some traps in the area to slow the opposition.
And we hand them a few Berettas so they can make noise. If they accidentally hit someone that's not one of their allies, that's gravy.
They're like, we will stick to the weapons we know, but thank you.
Well, in case we need to make noise, they can point them in the sky and pull the trigger. They can at least do that in case we need noise making.
Yep.
They will humor you and take them.
Chris, I have a feat which is strangely appropriate, called coordinated response, and I feel like there's a lot of coordination required here.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
I-
I mean, this is a pretty crazy scheme. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely reaching. Although this is exactly what my character is supposed to do, is impersonate a Gould system lord and be that guy. So.
And this is what my guy's supposed to do: get locals to try to militarize.
Yeah. No,
themselves to
it's
do stuff.
entirely in your wheelhouse.
That sounds like an Expendables mission.
Basically.
Over the course of like the little getting ready montage, there's stripping the map down for anything usable, getting the battery pack out of it and the transmitters to jury rig some remote detonators, grabbing the C4, shaping it into charges, very very quickly showing the villagers how to use a modern firearm. Figuring out where you're going to lay your distraction. The villagers set up their own traps, so like snares, deadfalls, that sort of thing. Very, very good at it, incidentally. Until it's the point where you pretty much feel like you've got everything ready. As far as I know, you've got what? You've got the distraction, and then you've got the assault team.
Yep.
Did you say, do I eat a saltine? I'm sorry.
You have an assault team.
Assault team, yes.
Yeah, we're just in trouble. This
I
is
feel a
not
little-
going to end well.
I feel a little bit better about my auditory processing issues now.
Yeah. No, it's only the first episode. I mean,
Team.
So the tension die is what, a comedic 1d4?
no, it's a D6.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Chris. I was wondering if it was code for something.
Yeah. All right. So you get everything in place. Why doesn't Aries can give me a deception check?
Oh no, I am definitely spending. Wait, can I spend Eureka on this? Hold on, I'm just checking.
I believe actually that you get you automatically get advantage on deception checks if you're trying to impersonate a Goa'uld.
Oh, I do. Yes, that's true. Haha, deception advantage. Yeah, that's not bad.
All right. So you kind of set up your deception to kind of like draw the attention of the Jaffa when they're on their patrol. I take it.
Yep.
Okay. What exactly do you say to them?
I am the consort of. I'm gonna name the ex-system lord that I defected from, that I ran away, because there's a fairly good chance that word hasn't gotten down that I'm a traitor to the Goa'uld system lord's cause.
That's true. They do kind of have their hands full. So I guess so which Goa'uld is it that you ran away from? Feel free to pick any of them.
Yeah, I want to say he probably ran away from. Oh no, I need to pick one, don't I? Hold on.
I mean, probably not Anubis.
No, not Anubis. It'd be either Isis or Thoth, maybe?
Okay.
Those all fit within the genre of me knowing stuff. And Isis seems to be a good one to, that isn't in the series. So let's go with Isis. I am Isis's former consort. At least I'm not telling them that. I am Isis's consort according to them.
Okay. Perfect. It definitely draws their attention.
It should.
Maybe not in the way you were hoping.
Probably not.
More in a more to sort of like, you know, how dare somebody trespass on, you know, our Lord's land, sort of thing. Less deference and more like, let's kill that guy in service to our Lord.
Eyes flash white. Put your weapons down, or suffer the wrath of the gods.
Right. That can be a persuasion roll.
Oh yeah, it can. I'm definitely going to use my my ability on this one.
Okay.
If I'm making sure I can do that, yes, I can. I'm going to use my symbiote. Oh, I'm out. Sorry. I'm going to roll it. Persuasion, charisma.
Do you get an advantage just for being a Tok'ra?
No. Oh, I failed. Hey.
Eureka point?
No, it's charisma. I don't think I get a Eureka
Oh.
on those ones. Although, let me see if I have something I can.
Well, if
Nope.
it turns into a firefight, we've got a diversion.
No, exactly. That's the best part.
I mean, win or lose, the diversion succeeds.
It was kind of the whole point, right? I didn't know it would work. It was just a matter of, this is a good start, and it draws all the fire. And if for some reason all of a sudden they start shooting at me, that definitely incurs the, well, that's go time for you.
So, yeah, they do start to approach, and they do get close enough that you can tell that they're they seem more intent on harm than obedience. And you try to pull the power move, and you realize that they're just not having any of it, and they are going to ready their staffs for attacks. But they do get close enough that you notice that the Gwald symbol on their forehead that marks who they serve has been branded off. It's just scar tissue there.
That's weird.
He says as he gets peppered with staff bolts.
So yeah, I like to think he's like, lay down your weapons. Then they kind of pull their weapons and he kind of looks and goes, that's weird. And then we cut to the other team as in the distance you hear the sounds of probably gunfire and Matok blasts.
Go, go, go. It's working perfectly.
Perfect. So from Doyle, I will need an let's call it an intelligence check with your proficiency bonus because you're trained in explosives.
So just straight intelligence?
Plus intelligence and then +2.
How do you add that?
That's a really good question. Actually, if you just like roll any of your skills that you're proficient in, it'll work out the same. Any of your intelligence skills.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's intelligence +3, and that's not proficiency, so add
20,
+2.
22 total. So yeah, as the Matok blasts are going off in the background, and NASA's like, go, go, go. You basically run up and get your charges planted. There's like a everybody like backs away. There is an explosion. There is a bunch of rubble. Back to Erie's. Yes, there is some Matok fire. For the first round, they missed. They're like, woefully unprepared for everything. Some arrows go, catches one of them in the shoulder. What would you like to do?
Oh, sorry, was that me?
Yes. We're just gonna kind of cut back and forth between the two teams.
I think
Well,
you go
I
like brave Sir Robin.
I feel like I'm gonna pull out my sidearm and shoot the closest Jafar that's trying to take a shot at one of my guys.
All right.
You are much
Well, apparently they didn't. With something appropriate like feel the wrath of my mistress or something, and then I shoot them.
All right. So in the little chat thing, you could just roll attack.
No advantage.
No,
Duh.
but you do catch them.
Oh.
I guess I gotta roll damage now, right?
Yes.
All right, and damage. It's a normal roll. Oh, shoot.
Oof.
I mean, it should be 4 damage because I rolled a d8, but oh, look at that. Wow. That hurt.
Right. So yeah. So amidst this melee, you just draw your pistol and just kind of shoot one of them. Probably, not really sure if you should be doing this or not, or confidently doing it, but not doing it as well as you had hoped. But yeah, at the last moment, that Jaffa just basically steps into the shot practically and catch him in the shoulder. He will. He won't drop right away, but between the guys that you have helping you with their bows, he will definitely go down fairly quickly.
What does the robot do that they're with?
The robot seems to be awaiting instructions. Because he did pull off the thing, they didn't actually get a chance to give the robot commands, and it's not smart enough to have an AI. It just follows commands. So until one of them actually commands it to do a thing, it's not doing a thing.
Pet robot.
Meanwhile, back at the jail.
At the site of the explosion, you mean, Mr. 22?
At the site of the explosion, yes. There's an explosion. There is rubble. There is coughing. You see two figures dressed in those gray outfits, the same figures that you saw earlier in the village, or that Sam saw earlier in the village, kind of coughing. And as the smoke clears, you can see in the center area of the jail, the main entryway, there is what looks like a moderately large and very advanced computer system hooked up to a generator, and then the lights and stuff like that. And beyond that, you can see cells.
Okay, so the first guys who die are the people in gray. I'm assuming that does not get hand waved, and I need to roll attacks and hits on these guys.
Yes, you would.
If you use your P90, it's got a reflex sight, and you're just shooting one bullet, you get an advantage when shooting in short range, so less than 200 meters.
Is that applicable here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's if we don't move, and my assumption is we did move to get here, right? So if you look at the... Well, we weren't in the explosion,
yeah.
So my assumption is we were away from the explosion, it exploded, and then we closed.
I imagine for this purposes, it's much more cinematic. So it's kind of the explosion happens, you guys move up to the door, and then you just kind of turn around and pack sort of thing.
Perfect. If you're allowing it, then I am attacking with one shot and advantage.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh.
14 is enough to hit.
Click the damage button. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Pack. So yeah, you kind of step around the corner. Don't quite drop one of them, but he reels significantly. Kind of clutches his side where you got him in the abdomen. If Doyle and Tanner would like to do something, they can certainly do so.
Sure, I'll get this next one. Who's got the best initiative?
I'm not worried too much about initiative for this more cinematic thing.
Okay.
Well, I have a feat that gives everyone the ability to use my initiative. That's what coordinated response does. So we all act at the same initiative. Mine.
So 18 is definitely a hit. Are you shooting the same one or the other one?
The other one.
Okay.
Yeah, because we both assumed they were both going to drop, and the captain was going to pick up whoever didn't.
Okay.
Oh, come on!
Okay. All right. So yeah, kind of that. The other one seems to have gotten behind some rubble, so the bullet the table catches a large part of that bullet.
For your damage is that 2d6 plus 2 for my dexterity. Is there a proficiency bonus or something?
Not on damage.
There's not. There's a special ability that does it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
This is why we have to teach Marines to shoot, I say.
I'm not a Marine.
Tanner,
Yes.
would you like to shoot a scientist?
Scientist on scientist violence. I see how it is.
That's right.
Yes. So because I'm not a soldier, I basically am only proficient in small arms, not long arms, which means I don't think I can actually use the P90.
You can, you just don't get your proficiency bonus.
Gotcha. I'm going to start with the sidearm anyway because I am more comfortable with it.
That's what I've been using as a sidearm.
All right, so
Can you use the benefits of a weapon if you don't have the proficiencies? Because having advantage, even if you don't have the proficiency bonus, is a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, you can still get all the benefits of the weapon.
I'm currently trying to figure out how to roll.
Click on attack. If you click on the chat bubbles on the top, you should see your Beretta has been shown up like 3 or 4 times, and there's an attack and a damage button next to them.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
No problem.
After you click on attack, yeah, there you go.
No, I was seeing nothing. That's not great.
Right. A 9 is in fact a miss.
I figured.
All right. They will do a thing. What will she do? Oh, she will use her research kit. So she is going to, well, Major was the first one through the door. Uh, 21. And I believe that does...
Just barely.
So one of the scientists kind of stumbles and grabs some chemicals or something they're working on, throws them in your face, and you take 4 points of acid damage.
Oh, my face.
It was so basic of him.
The goggles. The goggles, they do nothing.
The goggles do nothing. The other one. He's just gonna try to GTFO. So yeah, one of them basically starts like running out of the exposed exit. He does not want any part of this attack. Does not seem to be terribly brave. Flipping back over to Erie's, and a couple of Jaffa. So in the meantime, while we've been cut around, we cut back and you see like the wounded Jaffa basically drop under some arrow shots from the hunters that are with you. So there's one Jaffa and a robot that has not yet been given any orders.
I'm going to attempt to coerce or intimidate him into telling me who he serves.
Okay. That was intimidation for sure.
Yeah, it sure is. Let's roll one, shall we? No advantage for me. Nah.
13.
Who do you serve? The eyes, all eyes white. I'm clearly a gold.
That would be a wisdom save. Oh, he only gets a 10. So he kind of looks with his this look of just like absolute like hatred for you in his eyes, and he kind of spits the word at you, Baylor.
We're not attacking Free Jaffa.
Okay, cool. Now that I know he's serving Baylor, I can shoot him.
So yeah, we'll say.
Can I?
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting on towards 11, so we're doing it more cinematic than turn by turn, roll by roll.
Yeah. I'm just gonna now that I know that I'm not killing a Free Jaffa, I'm absolutely executing him.
Perfect.
Like no mercy.
So yeah, so he just kind of like looks at you and says like Baylor, and he raises him a talk staff, and you just kind of like, do you like coldly execute him, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely coldly. He says Baylor, and I just shoot him. That's it.
Perfect.
Like not even a hesitate. As soon as he names a system lord, I shoot him. Like he's not free. He's not like I serve no one. Like there's no quarter at that point. As soon as he sees he serves somebody else, blam, dead. That's it.
Perfect. All right. Meanwhile, back at the jail, one of the scientists is like GTFO. The other one looks like they're about to. What would you guys like to be doing?
One just splashed me with acid. Are they giving up or are they still fighting?
No, basically she like splashed some acid and looks like she's about to follow her comrade out for the hills.
Okay, let's go to the. Wait, hold on. I'm intimidating, so I'm going to try to take her as a prisoner. I'm going to say, get down on the ground or we'll shoot.
Perfect. Yep. Make an intimidation roll. I'll say make it with advantage since you blew open the jail, shot a bunch of people. Oh, a 22.
Ooh.
Oh wow. He dead or she dead. I say she dead.
So yeah, so she does put up her hands. And kind of like kneels down, like she understands the process.
Okay, so she gets down. So can I didn't write it here on my character sheet visually. I did, but we just didn't have the equipment. Is I carry zip ties with me specifically for this?
Yep.
So can I just zip tie her arms?
Sure can. Yes.
Fantastic. I tell the other two, get those jails open. Let's get these people out of here.
So yeah, easy enough to get the jail cells. You can, the keys are here, and they're like old time jail cells too. Members of Phoenix 4 are here. A couple other survivors. Easy enough to rescue them. Surprisingly, it looks like the couple of robots and the couple of Jaffa were like it for guards, like very minimal staffing.
Can we bring back a robot?
Wait, it's the computer I'm more interested in.
There is a moderate sized computer, and there is two of these robots that Kaylee will definitely like to use to help improve her Malps. And scientist prisoner.
Hold on. Did you say we just basically eradicated the entire force on the planet?
You haven't searched the whole planet. You've dealt with the ones that were here in an immediate threat.
We have what we came for. We should leave.
We should leave. How
so
big is that computer? Is it like a tower or is it like a server rack?
It's like a desk. Not a desktop, a desk.
Okay, so we can't move that. But we have a controller and two robots.
Well, what part of the computer can you take with you that's portable? You're the engineer. A bunch of this is probably video card, which we don't need.
Yeah, and I guess the power source could be replaced with something else.
So yeah, that would be an engineering role. I will give you advantage because you have two scientists with you.
I have
very useful.
Oof.
Okay.
That is the suckiest advantage roll I've ever seen.
It's even.
Yeah. And yeah, even though Ares isn't really a hard science type of person, the fact that you do know advanced tech helps them. You manage to get what you think is the hard drive.
There's I will radio and say, because I didn't go to the tower yet. Like I would have gotten I killed the two Jaffa, and I'm like I will radio like, Major, I am at the gate, but you are not. Would you like me to come assist you?
We're on our way.
Standing by.
So yeah, you guys can make your way to the gate with the survivors, with the remnants of Phoenix
Oh,
4.
for fuck's sakes, we were stupid. If we took the goddamn robot and had the robot pick up the whole fucking computer.
You guys are the scientists. You're supposed to be smart.
That explains why you got the 10 there. Yeah.
When they get to the gate room, I will explain the Jaffa and those in the gray cloaks, and the pictographs depict Baylor One Eye, who is a relatively not well known system lord, but apparently this is his place.
Knowing this, give me a culture roll.
Woohoo! That one I can spend my Eureka point on to gain advantage. And I know it's the end of the mission, so I'm definitely spending it.
Yep.
Culture. Push the button, make the weapon go. I push the culture button, and it is an advantage.
A 16.
Meh?
So knowing now that this is Baylor, you heard like before you amsgrade, there was a fair bit of scuttlebutt that two of Baylor's lieutenants, Morgan and Mamanan MacLear, were dividing up his assets because he had been killed.
His lieutenants are attempting to consolidate power. I will relay that to the team.
Yep.
It's either this person or this person. Because he is dead, allegedly.
Yeah.
Which explains the sarcophagus missing.
But yes, as you kind of fill them in, get the coordinates, and whoosh through back to Phoenix Site. Safe and sound, and right into a decontamination chamber.
Which is fine.
Which is fine.
Could be worse.
So that's kind of like the debrief, the denouement information you guys will find out of the prisoner that you have and the computer that you got. These scientists were part of something called the Ashen Confederation. There are reports on them from Stargate, and Stargate Command is like, do not engage.
Oops.
But they're not supposed to be anywhere near this area. They're a very small confederation.
What was that again for the name? Ashram?
Ashen, Aschen.
And in all fairness, they engaged us. We were rescuing Phoenix 4.
Yep.
Sure.
The reports that you read are essentially that they offer their advanced medical tech to planets, and then sterilize the population so it dies out and they can colonize.
Hey, that doesn't sound like anything I just said.
They are
How colonialist of them.
yes, they're very much like proprietors of eugenics, but they're not known to have gate coordinates.
Yeah, if this is part of Stargate Deep lore, I think that was like season 2.
Season 2, 4, and part of 5.
Right, but in season 2, humanity almost makes a deal for their tech and almost puts themselves in a situation where we're going to get eugenicized.
Yep. But yeah, they are. It was actually point Stargate Command gave them gate coordinates to a black hole.
The planet or the planets around Ashen are literally tagged in the computer, do not dial.
Yep.
Yes.
So somehow this group of Ashen got gate technology.
And we have the address from which they came
And you
with us, right?
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. The Ashen don't have ghouls. They don't have Jaffa.
They do not. The other important piece that you get from your prisoner, as she kind of breaks down during interrogation, is that per expedition here, they believe that the Ashen methodology is too slow.
Ugh, that's not good.
Hence the bloated bodies.
Yes. The planet was a test site.
Is the Ashen working for the Goa'uld, or are they allied with these Jaffa? Or
So it looks to me, based on what I'm seeing, based on what I encountered in the woods or the forest, is that the two lieutenants of Baelor have somehow enlisted help from Jaffa, or that they subjugated free Jaffa, because all of the Jaffa that I encountered had no markings on their foreheads, which tells me that they've either somehow subjugated the free Jaffa or they've co-opted other Jaffa from other systems.
So the big question is, and we're going to ask the general this, are we going to the set of coordinates that these people came from?
I think we need to.
And we're sending another expedition back to where these people's homeland was, the one we just left, or are simply because we described what happened with the DHD that can record incoming, right?
Right.
And to be fair, if we can also learn from, we might be able to learn from the dead what was happened and how they are attacking populations.
Absolutely, to inoculate ours in case of anything.
Yep. So yeah,
there's still technology on the planet we could grab.
Yeah. So yeah, they will send like a recovery team and a team to scrub the addresses out of the DHD and all of that sort of stuff.
And because of that, I officially request to the general that we add a medic to our team.
Excellent.
Out of character, aren't one of our players a medic, or is that the one that was out today?
Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't make it.
Perfect. That sounds. I'm sorry. I blanked on that. That is perfect. Working them in.
Yep.
All right. So for next game, given the fact that it's the first mission and you got essentially the bulk of the information to move plot forward, I will give you guys 5 mission points, which that way you can get to level 2.
Woohoo! We level. What does that mean?
We'll go through the stuff on Discord. At level 2, you get more hit points, and you also get like another ability.
Are we using the average hit points?
Sorry?
Are we using average hit points, or are we rolling a D whatever?
The classes say how much hit points you're getting.
Yeah. The way that I tend to do it in D&D is I let people roll, but if they roll less than the average, then they can take the average. So for a soldier, for example, you could roll your D10, and if you roll less than a 6,
woo!
There you go. And the I think scientists are D6 or D8.
D8.
Perfect.
So everyone sees I efficiently rolled a 10 on a D10.
Ooh, I got a 7 on an 8.
Excellent.
Looks like I have a D8. One moment.
Does that say 9?
Sweet.
So what's the average for?
5.
Okay, so it's 5, and is there anything that adds to that? Like
your con bonus.
Okay, so I get 6.
10 on D10, 7 on D8, 7 on D8, 1.
Hey, it had to balance.
All right. So for the scientist at 2nd level, you get apt analogy. Starting at 2nd level, you employ an easy-to-understand analogy to help others work through complex or esoteric problems. Once per short rest, you grant a friendly character a tension die bonus on an intelligence or a wisdom skill check. You also get great mind. You are difficult to deceive or confuse. You are immune to the charmed condition, and you gain advantage on insight checks to discern lies. Soldier gets Surge. So an additional action on your turn as a bonus action.
Yeah, I'm
including
reading it right
impact.
now.
Perfect.
What else do I get as a scientist?
And Engineer gets Hold Together, so you get additional benefit from cover. And
Yep.
Whack It.
Whack it.
I get Surge and Rally, by the way.
Oh wow, apt analogy and great mind.
Yep. Everybody gets 2 new abilities at second level. Perfect.
Okay.
But there we
And
go.
do we go up in points in our skill?
No, not yet. Your skills will go up as your proficiency bonus increases.
Right.
Like your stats never change from once you've rolled them, right?
No, actually, I think at 4th level you get a stat increase,
Okay, cool.
which will also affect your skills. It's very similar to D&D 5th edition, depending on how familiar you are with that.
And the mission points go into, we spend them on feats.
Not yet.
After level 5.
Level 5, you're still like Stargate is like, this is what you're doing, and this is what your job is, this is what you learn. And then after you get level 5, mission points after that you spend on buying feats.
So your mission points at first are basically being spent on buying your class levels up to level 5. When you run out of class levels to buy, then you can open up and buy other things.
So even though we have 5 mission points, it's that like 5. They're not ones that we're spending on anything.
We spent them on level 2.
Okay, so effectively on a chart, I should leave it at 0.
Perfect. Alrighty.
What's a TD bonus? Is that
It's the tension die. So like,
okay? Tension die bonus. Okay, cool.
so like if it's like a really tense episode, like a mid-season or something, and the tension die is a D12, then that adds a D12 to somebody's skill.
Right.
Hey, before we break, mechanically, is there any kind of like feature and or feat that your character that we probably should have talked about earlier before the game started that would like something that everyone should know?
How do you
Because my character has coordinated response. Basically says, when rolling initiative, your team members may choose, before any rolls are made, to use my initiative instead of your own. And I also have advantage on all initiatives.
Yeah, mine is I have the archaeologist thing where I can find hidden and then I have a whole bunch of stuff because I have a symbiote.
Right. But anything that affects other people, because this is basically I don't use this. Other people use my initiative rolls.
No, you're the everyone using your initiative is balling. Holy crap, it's insane. Everything else for me is like I can add a TD, like a tension die bonus to an intelligence or wisdom check now for anybody, once per short rest. But everything else for me is internal.
Anybody else have something that would help someone else that you think that they should be aware of?
If you're a machine, sure.
all I can do to help everyone is open the gate faster.
Which is totally valid.
Sorry, I'll take it. Any activate an astronomical device, including a Stargate. So it doesn't have to be a Stargate specific.
Could also be a Star Drive, which is also good.
Well, I think it's one of the big differences between a soldier in this and a fighter in D&D is the soldier has a lot of things to boost his team, as opposed to the fighter who's like a one-on-one combatant.
Right.
Right. I mean, and now at level 2, the scientists have apt analogy, which means we can explain things in strange ways, and we give them a bonus on intelligence or wisdom.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I'm a librarian who does tech tutoring, so I feel like this is literally my job.
Hold on, is that add a tension die? Does that mean both of you can use it on the same person?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that means someone can get multiple tension dice and bonuses?
So if our fearless leader starts getting really bullheaded and the scientists have to sit down and talk him through something, he'll benefit.
Well, the thing is, too, is it's you have to remember things like perception is that wisdom check.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. No, we can, like, I mean, right now, the current threat die is at attention dice D6, but I mean, it's still like we could add a D6 to any like intelligence or wisdom. So that's like everything from animal handling, culture, engineering, history, insight, investigation, medicine, nature, perception, science, and survival.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And we both can do it. So that gives like we can double bonus somebody and like pack it on.
Yeah. What's it like if you guys were second level when you got to the computer when Dora rolled a 10 there, you know, you each could have like helped talk him through it in your own unique way and possibly brought that up to like a 22.
At the same time, put me on a ship or a fighter or whatever, and you'll be surprised how long it's gonna last under fire.
That's true.
We're gonna let you pilot the robot.
Sure, I actually got a pretty good pilot check, and it's one of my proficient skills.
Alrighty, I am going to end the stream. We actually had people watching, which is cool.
That's
That's
wicked.
awesome.
So, yeah. Hopefully people enjoyed. And thank you guys for playing our first game of Stargate. It was fun.
No, that was fun. I had a lot of fun. I do apologize that I literally. So I do ask a lot of clarifying questions because I honestly in normal conversation will miss probably about 1 in 5 words people say and just have to infer through context. Gay processing issues.